Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to episode 151 of the Drag Drive Repeat Show presented by Summit Racing. Tonight, we got a good one, dude. I'm excited about this. We're going to have Robert Voss on to talk about camping at the circuit. We're going to go through the other classes we didn't get to last week from the circuit and their winners and runner up and some fun stories. And then we've got Matt Frost on because the next like 3 weeks is pretty insane for the drag and drive community. And then it just absolutely blows up and it's going to be very hard to gather these people up. So we've got Matt Frost on from Rocky Mountain Race Week to talk about the 11th year for Rocky Mountain Race Week and how they're going back to the mountains and the tracks they're going to do and the route stops and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's going to be really cool. But we got to get into this thing, man. If you don't mind, hit that intro. We'll do it.
All right, let's go.
All right, dude, you ready for this? Episode 151 of the Drag Drive Repeat Show presented by Summit Racing. We're getting, hey, Josh Rich in here from local Mexican food joint. Dude, I've had Mexican food the last 2 nights in a row. It's been amazing, man. I've enjoyed it a whole lot. Guys, if you don't know, my name's Mike Narks. I'm the host of the show you're watching here and the news that happens on Saturday mornings here at Drag Drive Repeat. Dude, we are committed, maybe mentally, institutionally to the drag and drive community, man. I tell you, I can't get enough of this stuff. My right hand man, Mr. Eric White, what you got going on, dude?
I am Eric White, co-host of the show and news, and right now just trying to get through the photos from the circuit. It's been pretty wild going through all those. I think I said it was like 4,100 photos is what I took for the weekend. So working through some of those, and there's been some good ones that have been posted so far.
Oh, dude, it's been pretty wild, man. I'll tell you. Seeing your stuff come up, seeing Jesse Fox's stuff. We've got stuff from Kyle Merriman over at the Tulsa Raceway Park, one of the photographers over there. I mean, dude, it's crazy. We've got some stuff coming from Red Patrick over at Tulsa as well. Man, the amount of photographers that were on site for the circuit's the biggest we've had ever. It was really cool to have some of those folks out and about and doing all that fun stuff. So, you know,
And I think Tom posted a video today too
yes,
that I haven't got to watch through.
I know. And dude, it's 31 minutes and I pulled it up at like 6:20 and I was like, I'll watch it before the show. There's no way. It's 31 minutes. And then Brian's been dropping stuff. We're on day 2 and the racer party video probably drops tonight or first thing in the morning with all the go-kart racing. And then we'll have day 3 come out tomorrow or Saturday or Friday or something like that. So been pretty wild, dude.
Yeah,
It's been busy.
for sure.
Well, you know how it goes. We can't do any of that stuff. None of it without our race car friends. So thank you guys for being here tonight. We appreciate you guys doing all this stuff. And I know I keep looking at my phone, but we have a special announcement in the circuit section as well from Sick the Magazine. So it's gonna be kind of fun. So just want to say thank you guys so much. Like the last couple weeks has been pretty wild for me. Family stuff's been off the hook. Events have been crazy. You know, I went basically straight from the circuit into my grandmother passing, straight from that into the throwdown in T-Town, which is one of the biggest events that Tulsa Raceway Park hosts. From that into the funeral Monday and Tuesday. So it's been like this whole 2 weeks of craziness here at my house and in my life. And so appreciate everybody, all the kind words everybody's said, all that kind of cool stuff. The only thing I want to say is my grandmother was a freaking badass lady. She's awesome, super cool, and we're gonna miss her a whole bunch. So I appreciate you guys. And I mean, obviously, I'm not done with all that stuff yet. We have a lot of stuff family side to deal with, but uh, taking a couple days off was nice. I'll tell you that much, just to kind of be away from stuff for a minute and spend some time in my own head. It was good. And then I woke up this morning in a lot better frame of mind. So I kind of worked on the show today, which was great. So it's kind of fun. So again, thank you guys so much for all you do for us over here. And of course, our sponsors, man. We can't do this without them. We can't host events. We can't do cool stuff. We can't go cool places without these. So if you guys are shopping, please hit up these sponsors, Summit Racing. Obviously, we have an affiliate link on our website, dragdriverpete.com. It's pinned at the top of the page for our affiliate link and all that kind of stuff on Facebook. Summit Racing is a big part of not us, but just the whole drag and drive community as well. Deechworks, of course, brought 2 cars to the circuit, broke both of them, which you know what that means. They're coming back. They're coming back with a
Oh
vengeance.
yeah.
Appreciate them sponsoring the racer party and all the cool stuff they do for us. Molly Motorsports drove all the way from North Carolina to come out and hang out. Driven Racing Oil. If you need your stuff to keep going, lubricated stuff and that green special oil, hit them up for sure. DDR10 is your code over there as well. Howard's Cams, of course. J-Wire Solutions, who's at the circuit. AFCO Racing Products, Performer Built Transmissions, Car Change 3D, Low Dollar Motorsports, your daily burnout sponsor. And of course, PowerTube TV, who lets us play some of our cool stuff over there. And we're actually editing down 2 videos because we can't fit it into one that they will actually play on their direct TV stuff as well. So it's going to be kind of cool having some circuit, videos over there. And of course, Racing Junk Classified. So if you guys are doing all of that stuff, go hit them up. But let's let Brian Loans tell us about Summit Racing.
What does it mean to be built with Summit? It means you're hitting the autocross, drag strip, road course, trail, dirt, or open road with confidence. Because built with Summit means you're using parts from the top names in performance, priced to make your project affordable. And it's all backed by trusted tech expertise and blazing fast shipping. Summit Racing Equipment. Let's build it together. SummitRacing.com.
Well, we talk about Summit all the time and kind of the products they have and stuff like that. But our boy, Tommy Dupree, this weekend went down to Mickey Thompson Turn and Burn and kind of kicked ass and took names. Hang on. Dude, where did I see those pictures?
Yeah, they're after the merch stuff.
I
got them. I got them out of order.
That's all right. Tommy Dupree, man, this was kind of cool to see him go down here and do this and kind of, make it out this first bit in the car. This is his first outing. Finished it. What did he send us a video like that Tuesday, I think? Something like that?
Something. Well, no, it was during the circuit, I think.
Oh, okay.
So like
maybe
Thursday.
it was the Thursday before. Yeah. Dude, that's insane. Has the powertrain from the S10, which we know is fast. We're going to have him on in a couple weeks to tell the full story of this car. He's just at an event this week in Virginia. So naturally aspirated LS setup. I don't remember the transmission, but I think it's turbo 400. Dude goes out and runs low 10s first time out in the car. The car was running and driving before they sold the engine transmission out of it. He put his stuff in. So kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, he went from the Firebird, I think that was running 10s, the S10 to this. So pretty consistent as well.
Yeah, and I think he said he's probably got a 9 in this thing or a really, really low 10. And then we were all texting back and forth, and Eric asked, like, man, what's the future goal? And he goes, I just want to enjoy it, man. Because he fought the S10 so much, he's like, I just want to have fun and do this thing. So
Yeah, he got rid of the Firebird because it was too nice of a car to make it any quicker. And then he gets into the S10 and, like you said, struggles with that. And now he's got this car, which seems like for your first outing to go, I mean, he was fairly low 10s with it. So pretty impressive. And it seemed like it ran good. So, I mean, what more can you ask for?
I don't know. It was badass. And then let's back up to these photos though, right here. And I think you're even wearing one, right? How about this baseball cap that we bought? How many we buy these? 25? And they didn't make it through, I think, day 2 of the circuit. And I didn't even get me one. So I'm going to jump on summitracing.com and order me one because I think I need one of these.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. I will say that I bought some stuff called, oh man, pet guard or something. Travis Wise had told me about it, and I sprayed this thing down before I put it on. So it's supposed to help with the sweat. You know, all of our hats end up discolored. So we'll see.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully this one stays pretty fresh.
Yeah, I think you're probably better off to just order two. You know what I mean? Like have your work hat and then have your nice freshy fresh. That's kind of what I've got on tonight is a new Molly Motorsport hat that like Adam gave it to me during the circuit and I was like, awesome. And I put it in my truck and I know he was like, wait, why wouldn't you put that on? And I'm like, dude, it'll get faded and sweaty and all that kind of gross stuff. So well, while you're in there, grab you one of the Drag Driver Pete hoodies and t-shirts as well. And you can look just almost as cool as Nico Christofri there on the right side of your screen there. All right. Let's move on to some Drag Driver Pete updates. This is going to be a fun one here. We have some cool stuff happening. Big shout out to Robert Young and Velocity Motorsports in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He has stepped on board or came on board to sponsor he's going to be the title sponsor for both the 2-lane throwdown and the Route 66 roundup. This is kind of exciting. He's a local shop here, or not shop, like performance parts there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So this will be kind of fun. He also races at Tulsa a whole bunch and has been bitten by the drag and drive bug and is like, let's go, let's do this thing. So June 20th, we're actually going to route down to his shop. We're going to have like some drinks and snacks and stuff like that in his parking lot, and then go find us a place to eat and all that kind of cool stuff, and then come back and do all the things here. So that'll be kind of fun. Just want to say shout out to him and all the hard work that this is going to ensue for him. He has no idea what he stepped off into as being the title sponsor for this, but seems like a super cool dude. Raced at the throwdown in the 6.0 index in his street driven S550 Mustang, I think what it is. So pretty cool, man. I'm pumped. And then
pretty sweet.
Yep. And then 2-lane throwdown, more news for that. Registration is this Friday. So I'm building all of the tickets out tomorrow. We're going to do discounted registration for people that raced in the circuit and Mother Road Mayhem. Be discounted by $25. It's going to be $125 to register during that. Everybody else will be $150, and it will go live on Saturday morning. I think it probably 9 a.m. is kind of my plan, 9 a.m. Eastern time. I have something going on Saturday, so I won't be around. I'll be emceeing a mud run, but I think it'll be fine. We had great luck with Ticket Taylor last time, so it should be pretty easy. I'm working on route stops and all that kind of stuff now for 2-lane throwdown. I think with where Velocity Motorsports is located, we'll be able to go down. It'll be a whole new, I would say a whole new drive for us. We haven't been this part of Tulsa before. So it's going to be kind of cool to kind of make a big loop out of like the south. I guess that would be the southeast side of Tulsa. So I got to find some really cool spots and places to eat and all that kind of stuff out there. So are you ready for this one? 2-lane throwdown, 38 days from now. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And then Route 66 roundup is in 81 days. Who decided 5 events this year would be awesome?
You did. You did that for sure.
All my fault. It is going to be pretty cool. And, you know, last time we had 4 or 5 new people at the Mother Road Mayhem. If we can end up in that same range, you know, I think we're probably going to end up with 50 or 60 cars at 2-lane throwdown. I think with having it and the Ford and Shelby Nationals in town, plus June will really be a big push for Route 66 as far as people coming through and cruising. It's going to be a great time. You know, of course, we're partnering with Motorama, which is a team, Tim Taylor and the team over there do big car shows and cruises and stuff like that. So this will be a lot of fun. And then, of course, Route 66 Roundup is going to be even better. August 2nd, early morning, so it's not as hot.
For sure.
Before I say that, before we move on to the circuit stuff, because we got a lot in that, my other bit of news, and when I pull this up, will you put me up on the big screen here? But it says the first trio of SICK wild cards providing early access to the Gear Vendors Overdrive SICK Week 2027 has been named from the circuit results. Y'all ready for this? Our 3 racers from the circuit are Kyle Beaumont, Eric Kuhn, and Kylie Reynolds. So big shout out to them. Congratulations to those guys for getting the SICK wild card I guess, entries into Sick Week 2027. So that's pretty cool. Sick does that for the quickest car. So they were doing some math on the backside, comparing it to quarter mile times and all that stuff. And of course, those guys, quickest 3 eighth mile cars for sure, and the only cars to run 4s in the eighth at the circuit in history. So pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So
that's
congratulations
super
to those
sweet.
guys. Yeah. Excited for them. And we'll be making a post about that. That literally dropped like 16 minutes ago to get out there and about. So circuit info, we didn't get to all the classes last time. So I just want to do a quick recap. Biggest event we've ever hosted in history. I've hosted more than 50 events, not 50 races. It's probably not the biggest car count I've ever had. I figured out how to word that. But it's the biggest drag race I've ever hosted. That's for sure. 247 total cars, 214 race cars, 33 road trippers, $25 from every racer ticket, all the VIP tech money, more than $4,000 there. Raffle ticket sales, more than I think 15 or 1,800 bucks there, and straight up donations from people. Molly Motorsports giving us 1,200 bucks. We raised $12,204 for the youth services of Tulsa. So pretty freaking cool, man. I'm so excited. The photos have been dropping daily, both from Eric and from Jesse Fox or 3G Video. So like you guys are just getting overloaded with photos. I'm telling you, there's several hundred a day you can go through. Please tag your friends. Please tag your friends. We want them to see these photos and, can go purchase them and all that kind of cool stuff if they want the high res versions, or, just copy and put those as your profile picture. We don't mind that at all over here at the circuit. That's what happens and all that kind of cool stuff. But I wanted to run through the rest of the names for people that won that we didn't cover in episode 150, which is last week. So I figure me and you can alternate like we normally do with these classes. So starting off, All Motors Small Block, brought to us by WAF Racing. 10 cars entered that class. Jason Schroeder takes the win in that one with a 1069 average, and Brett Crosby, who we got to hang out with at Sick Week, 1135 average for him in second place.
Then the All Motor Big Block by Howard's Cams had 11 cars in it, and our winner there, John Dautry of Gearhead Perspective, coming in there with a 10.122 average. And then second place was Kristen Chester with a 10.46 average.
Yeah, that was a great class to watch kind of unfold there. Gasser and Hot Rod Naturally Aspirated. This was a class I said in the driver meeting, if we can get 6 cars, we'll go ahead and do a class that's just naturally aspirated. And these guys came up with 5 cars, and I said, hell, let's go for it, right? So our boy Brent McCoy, shout out to his wife Vera, who verbally thrashed me for not having a scavenger hunt this year. 1158 in the 4-door Buick or Pontiac. I think it's a Pontiac. And then second place, Bill Blomberg, 1184 average for him in second place. Gasser Hot Rod Naturally Aspirated.
And then the other Gasser Hot Rod class by AFCO Racing had 4 cars in it. And first place there, Patrick Melson with an 11,685 average. Over second place, Doug Jensen with an 11.760 average.
Yeah. And what's cool is Patrick actually did that with a 20. He was running in the 8s, had hurt the car, and said, hey, what do I got to do to win it? If I just take a 20, do I win it? And we did the math, and he did. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. Overdrive by Chris Paget of Paget Performance. 10 cars in that class. I thought this was a real fun one to watch. First place, Brad Long, 858 average in that class. I mean, he could have done some damage over in the Street Race Power Adder. And then Dustin Cottle, one of our favorite guys, 895 average over there.
And then we've got Tailgate by Cornerstone Performance Transmissions. We had 14 trucks in this class this year, which is pretty awesome. The most consistent trophy went to Budeni with a .036. So pretty sweet there. And then in that class, first place, we had Neil Torbett with a 5.251 average. Over second place, Josh Gray with a 5.85 average.
Yeah, I got to hang out with Josh again last week at the Throwdown. His son was racing in junior dragsters. So super cool.
How cool.
Yeah, and then Quick Stick, our stick shift class by Jerry's Performance, 15 cars in that class. Big shout out to them. Chris Holly took the win in that class with an 1191, and then Roger Morrison, all the way from North Georgia, drove the car up 1244, and then drove the car home. Average over there. So pretty awesome to them. Appreciate all the racers and stuff at the circuit. We're still going to be covering some of the stories. I'm trying to work through all that stuff now. Now that I'm back, it's we're gonna spend some time every day kind of putting all that stuff together. So thank you, everybody. We're only getting started. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Tell us about some driven racing oil stuff.
All right, let's hit the ad read and we'll get into it.
Hey, it's Brandon from Fort Smith, Arkansas here. Driven Racing Oil is a performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application. Whether launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off-road and circle track, or pushing the limits in top-fueled drag boats and demo derbies, winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting-edge race machines, GP1's unique surface cleaning and high-zinc formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat-tapped camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. Crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil and enhanced with state-of-the-art additive packages, GP1 offers the best in protection and performance.
All right, so first bit of news here up in the Driven Racing Oil section. Actually, before we get to that, can't forget code DDR10 for that 10% discount on drivenracingoil.com. Anything on their website, oil for the season. You've got degreaser, you've got the speed wax, they got assembly lube, they got all kinds of stuff over there. So if you're shopping over there, use code DDR10, get you that 10% discount. So first thing up, this weekend, we have the NHRA Street Legal event at Joliet Drag Strip, Route 66. We're going to have Bryant Goldstone's going to be there again, Alex Taylor, Tom Bailey, and a bunch of other racers there. Running through the schedule here real quick. On Friday, we've got the Peak Streetcar Shootout time trial at 12:30, and then a second one at 6:15 in the evening. Then on Saturday, we have another time trial at 11:20 a.m., and then we get into the first round of eliminations at 4:25 p.m. On Sunday, we do our semi-finals at 2:45 p.m., and then the finals at 4 p.m. So if you're in or around the Joliet, Illinois area, be sure to head over and check this out. You can watch some NHRA racing, plus see this streetcar shootout, the street legal drag and drive stuff, which is, I did it a couple years ago, and it's pretty awesome to watch.
Oh, man, I got to get up there for that one.
It is super cool. And then looking at our May events, we did wrap up the Mickey Thompson Turn and Burn, which we'll talk a little bit about here in the next segment. Then up next, we have Back to the Streets. This is in 7 days, May 20th through 24th at Bunker Hill in Brown County. Obviously going to be an awesome event there. Again, 7 days. Doesn't feel like we're almost to the end of May already.
No way. No way.
Then we go into Drop the Hammer, which is May 28th through 31st at Mid-Michigan Motorplex. That's only 15 days away. And then rounding out the month, the Sick Speed Fest, also May 28th through 30th at Beach Bend Raceway, again, also starting in 15 days. So within 2 weeks, we're going to be done with all of our May events already.
Man, that just seems weird. It does not seem like that should be possible.
And then we roll into our first busy month of the year, June. Running through these quick, we got Street Weekend, June 4th through 7th. Streetcar Challenge, also June 4th through 7th. Alaska Speed Week, June 8th through 13th. Rocky Mountain Race Week, which we're going to talk a bunch about tonight, June 5th through 12th. Sick Summer, June 15th through 20th. BC Drag It Challenge, June 17th through 22nd. The two-lane throwdown that you talked about earlier, June 20th. The Home Quarter Drag and Drive, June 19th through 21st. East Coast Drag and Drive, June 26th through 28th. The Great American Detour, which we're going to talk to Camp Counselor Bob here in a little bit about, June 27th through July 4th. And then rounding out the month of June, we have Buckeye Skips, June 29th through July 3rd.
Dude, that's so great. 11 events in the month of June.
Yeah, and there was only like 7 or 8 days, if that we counted that there's not gonna be an event going on in the month
Yeah.
of June, so gonna be pretty awesome for us. Tons of stuff for us to talk about, which
Yeah.
will be great.
Bring it on. And that's going to really shake up. You have, in that time, you're going to have Six Summer and Rocky Mountain Race Week to, I guess, yeah, to really shake up the points championship. I mean, this is going to be pretty interesting moving forward, how this is going to work and who's going to come out on top at the end of June.
Yeah, it'll be, we'll find out very, very soon.
Very soon.
Well, that puts us at 50 events on the calendar so far for the year. Again, you can always find that list of events in the interactive map at dragdriverepeat.com/event list 2026, which that'll be in the chat here in just a moment.
Dude, it's crazy we're going that fast. All right. Let's talk about some J-Wire stuff where we're going to go over some Mickey Thompson turn and burn.
Yep.
Go over the results from over there.
Yep. Let me hit this ad read and we'll talk about that.
What's up, guys? My name is Cole from Fort Worth, Texas. Expert car and marine wiring solutions that you can trust. J-Wire Solutions can wire and plumb your hot rod, your race car, hell, even your drag and drive car. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience way better, like their blinker module that is just a must for all drag and drive cars. This module will allow your rear turn signals to continue to function while the brake pedal is applied, just like stock. Find all the details at jwiresolutions.com.
And of course, if you have any questions, J-Wire is owned and operated by Jay Blanchard, longtime drag and drive guy. All right, well, let's jump into this, dude. Mickey Thompson turn and burn. You grabbed some photos here. Summit Racing in Talmadge, Ohio was one of their route stops, and they had a meet and greet and autograph signing and all that kind of cool stuff. I thought that was a pretty good idea. Maybe need more of that on some drag and drives as we get more, all these famous people coming into drag and drives.
Yeah. Do you want me to sign autographs at the next one?
I mean, dude, for sure. I want you to sign chests and hats and all that kind of cool stuff. 65 cars signed up. Not a bad number for the first one here. We've seen some, like this is a regional event, 3 days of racing. So we're seeing these regional events continue to grow, continue to add to the car count. And 65 cars started, 48 cars finished. So, man, we got some good stories that are coming, not this week, but maybe next when we talk to some of these racers and get some stories behind that. So let's run through. We can flip-flop between these winners as well.
Yeah, no pictures and no certain orders. Just grab some of these from Sick the Mag post as you're flipping through those. But we'll start with the unlimited winner, which was Steve Morris with a 6.835 average over runner-up Sean Skipper with a 7.000 average.
I think there was actually another zero after that as well.
That's pretty wild. And then also in that unlimited class, Jeff Lutz did submit an 11.7 on day one and then did not finish, unfortunately.
Yeah, he said no more for me. Up next, unlimited iron winner, Miss Alex Taylor with a 660 average, 6.604 average. Mr. Jason Moulton of Mickey Thompson Tire brought out his Fairlane.
Yes.
Sad, I missed that thing for sure. I've never seen that car in person. He did end up taking a DNF on this event, but that's okay. He submitted an 881 on day one. And then I think he didn't tell me this, but I think he probably realized how hard it is to put together an event and race in it. So I think after that, he bowed out and said, hey, I'm just going to have fun and kind of hang around.
For sure. Then the pro modified radio winner, Miss Val Morris, who was just there up on the screen with a 6.934 over Tom Bailey in a 9.13.
Yeah. I brought the dart out. So
I saw that.
Pretty cool. I haven't watched any of Tom's videos from the weekend, but that's kind of my plan for tomorrow.
Yeah. And then David Deal was in that class. They just posted a video, I want to say earlier today, or maybe it's coming out this evening. I can't remember. They had a 6.878 and then finished with a DNF, unfortunately.
Dang it. Yeah, that sucks. Those guys are on a mission for sure in that car. A-gas winner, Mr. Jeremy Bonnet. Love that car. Love that dude. He's awesome. A 919 for him. Runner-up Jay Grabiak, another fan favorite with a 996 average. And I thought this was kind of cool. All the cars in the A-gas finished. That's the only class that had every car finish.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
B gas winner was Sam Beresford with a 10.819 average over runner up Mr. Mike Heston with an 11.606 average.
Yeah, big shout out to Mike Heston, Bucket List Mob over there doing big things. 275 radial winner over there, Eric Fought, Fought, maybe Foat, I don't know. 83 Cutlass. I don't remember that name from other events, but I'm gonna do some research on that. Run a 862 for the weekend, and then runner up Rick Russell in the Little Red Express with an 863 average. So right behind him. I mean, less than a tenth. But big shout out to Tommy Dupree, who ended up third with a 1016 average. And then Cole Reimar's another name we see a lot in the Purple Mustang in fourth place, 1033 average. And then sadly, this was the one I was really looking forward to, Mr. Bill Spangler in the FUB. This was the debut of the new Godzilla build. Sadly, DNF'd on that. Going to get the story on that tomorrow. Probably do a quick write up or something like that. So sorry, man. I hate to hear that. That's a super cool car, and I know he'll get that thing fixed and figured out.
Yeah. Then we go into the Pro DYO winner, Miss Morgan Evans, with a 0.009 spread. So pretty awesome there.
Yeah.
Runner up for that was Corey Pant with a 0.028 spread. And then another one here, third place, Mike Reimars with a 0.052.
Yeah, I was excited to see Mike move into the Pro DYO class. I think he did that at Sick Week too. That car currently holds the record for the quickest average at Hot Rod Drag Week in the SME class, like a 10:03 or something like that. So pretty awesome. DYO, of course, to dial your own, which is how I feel like this is probably one of the best ways to figure up your your most consistent racer. So Sick does this. They of course powered this event, and so that means I think they probably brought in their team and stuff, and also brought in their rules. So DYO winner Todd Taylor, are you ready for this? 0.001 spread, 3 passes, 11,908, 11,907, and 11,908. Bro,
That's pretty awesome.
That's insane. Runner up Mike Turner, longtime friend of the channel here, 0.008 spread with an 11,752, 11,759, and 11,60. And then third place Mark Frazier, 0.01 spread, 10,005, 10,008, and then 10,015 for his final one. And then the top 8 cars in DYO had less than a tenth spread across 3 passes.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So big shout out to them. Big shout out to Mickey Thompson for really going in and taking the plunge as far as hosting an event and doing all that kind of stuff. So 65 cars, great way to start this. And then of course, 2 days of test and tune ahead of that. I wonder if that kind of cost them a few people out of the 17 or 18 that didn't make it. Because people were leaning on their stuff in that first few days, trying new tires and all that kind of stuff. So again, big shout out to them, and shout out to Jason Moulton for a guy that has done so much for the sport, always on the starting line, always willing to help people figure out the right tire or pressure or whatever for their setup, and out here doing all of it for everybody. So kind of cool for them to host an event.
And then Corey Pant here, runner up of the Pro DYO class, said I did all of that with no gauges and no tack.
Bro, that's awesome.
That's that butt dyno right there.
Yeah. To have that kind of spread. I just wonder, Corey, tell us how many passes it took to get there. Well, cool. Well, again, big shout out to J-Wire and all the work and help they give us here at the channel, and been messaging back and forth with Jay to get more videos for the J-Wire Solutions YouTube page. So we should see some stuff hopefully come from the circuit and all that. Oh,
Sweet.
wow. 15 passes.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool. All right, man, let's move into the Molly Motorsports segment and bring on Mr. Robert Voss, or as we affectionately refer to him, Camp Counselor Bob.
Looking for a forged piston kit for your vehicle? You need Molly Motorsport Power Pack. What is Power Pack? It's the ultimate forged piston kit that comes complete with pistons, performance file fit rings, hot string steel pins, and clips, all engineered to work together, so all you have to do is build something great. Find your Power Pack at mollymotorsport.com.
Man,
He said Pro Dash went dead on Saturday morning.
wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me reply back to Jimmy here. If you want to bring in Mr. Camp Counselor Bob.
Yeah, we'll bring in Robert Voss here, and then we'll do that. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you guys?
Man, we're awesome.
Fantastic.
Glad to have you on. Good to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you sent me a text a couple hours ago asking if I could jump on.
Hey, Eric and I were messaging back and forth, and we weren't going to have a second guest on tonight. But I was like, man, I feel bad not having somebody on to talk about fun stuff. And you've got fun stuff from the circuit and, of course, your upcoming Great American Detour. So I feel like you were great for this tonight. I'm excited about this and appreciate you doing it on such short notice, literally like 3 hours ago.
Yeah, no, I when I texted you, I was like, hey, you said like 7:30, right? Because I'm in Laramie, Wyoming right now. So I was down at Guardian Garage, like YO Speed. They got a dyno down there. I was hanging out with Brian and his family, and I was like, I gotta go, guys. Like, and so made it over, got back to the hotel, and got on just in time. So
that's awesome. Well, dude, we appreciate it for sure. All right, well, let's get into some of this stuff because for folks that don't know, Camp Counselor Bob is your nickname. Robert Voss is your real name. And dude, you came on board last year to do the camping stuff for the circuit, and it was a success last year. This year, whole new level of cool, man.
This year, mind you, I couldn't have done any of this without my wife. She really came in clutch because without her, like, we wouldn't have had breakfast. It wouldn't have been organized. Last year, the only reason I made it somewhat successful is because we had a lot of rain and we could just sit around and bullshit all day, right? So, but the entire reason that you came to me with this is because, you have your parking lot beer stories, but we don't have that presence at the track or at the tracks that we camp at. And, had we not had this, I mean, let's look at the gym hopping stuff, right? It's crazy. So, camping, it started out great. We went to Tulsa, got there, pulled in, and of course we always have the big group. And there's the gym hopping stuff. That guy, he is an absolute gangster. And so when we first pulled into Tulsa there, everything was, there were trailers everywhere. We're trying to figure out how we're going to camp and stuff. And I just parked my little pop-up right where I told you I was going to, and had everybody come over. And that first night we had a fire going, and Austin with his wagon, he pulled up, and it's just always a good time. He brings the wagon. It's always a good time. And we had Clint Cantu there, and Josh Reich, and Dalen Cox, your typical campers. And then Jim Hopping pulls in at 10:30 at night with the sound of our people, the big block just thumping away, and no one can definitely sleep when he pulls in with that thing. And so, that was a good start to the camping. And then that next morning we, decided to get a fire going again and cook some breakfast. And, so my wife made enough breakfast. I think we fed all the campers. So it was like, I think right around 20 people just in total with campers, awesome. Few strays. So,
yeah, I love this program, dude. And I love that a guy that's as awesome as you is running it. You know what I mean? Because there's no way I could manage that and do what I was doing, and you've taken it and it's become your own thing, man. You've done
and it's fun. I'm a terrible spectator, absolutely terrible spectator, but I can come to these. I can come to your event, and I can be the camp counselor and not have to worry about racing. Just being on the starting line, helping people out. That's what it's all about. It's your event is the most fun drag and drive that I've been to, and I've never raced it.
It's awesome. That's awesome. Josh Rich, you're saying the first night was rough. Fire extinguisher went off in my camping trailer.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get to see that, but there is a picture in there that Dalen sent that you should have, and there's like, fire extinguisher dust just kind of in the wind there coming out of his trailer.
Oh, I was trying to figure out what that was. I thought it was just like a super cool smoke. Oh, I didn't bring it over.
No. Yeah, no, that was the fire extinguisher dust. But after that fire extinguisher debacle, Josh didn't even come over and say hi. He just went to bed.
Nope.
And so
by myself.
the only disappointing part about this entire thing is that we didn't make a Waffle House trip. Like, that was I'm gonna have to make that mandatory next year, because last year's Waffle House trip was probably the most fun.
It was a good time, dude. We took that place over.
Yeah. So
we did 2 of them, or I did 2 of them. I don't know. I don't think you did either. Did you, Mike?
No, I didn't hit one that weekend.
Well, there you go. I hit one for each one of you guys then.
Yeah. And so I guess, one of the funny stories is, so we cooked breakfast that morning and we let the campfire sizzle out, and I poured my, water from my cooler on the campfire. And 5 hours later, I, with my bare hands, scooped all of that ashy muck out of the fire pit and put it in the back of my truck. And then Austin sent me a video. He's like, we're all kind of disappointed. The plastic dumpster is just on fire. So evidently there was an ember in that bed. Smokey the Bear was not happy with me. Yeah. And so
you would think 5 gallons of water from the cooler would be enough.
Yeah. And we put it out at like 11 o'clock and we didn't leave there till 4.
Oh,
so
wow.
it was like, we have no idea how it's still lit, because I had, Milo, he came over and he helped me pick it up and, scooped it in there. I was like, hey, you think that's fine? He says, that is mud. And I said, sounds good enough to me. Put it in there. And then, I get a video and it's just ablaze.
That's awesome. Yeah, Jimmy had just ridden up on the scooter to check on us, and I was like, I think I had just gotten your call, or maybe somebody else had called or messaged and was like, there's a trash can on fire.
Yeah. I probably won't do that again. I'm saying probably because honestly, I don't know if I'm going to do that again. We might just use the dumpster as a fire pit next time. It seems to work pretty well.
That would be easier. You know what I mean?
Like, we're just going to hobo it.
Yeah. Just everybody standing around it with their hands out.
And, thank goodness there was one of the racers. He camped with us. He went down to the store and he brought us like 4 or 5 bundles of firewood to last us the entire
that's awesome.
week. And then when we got down to the final bit of it, I was taking all of we were out of wood at the go-kart track. And so I had all of this like thin, tiny wood that was over top of my winch system in my camper. And it was just stacked there. And so I was like, well, we still need a fire. So we just started throwing that in there. And then they went around the go-kart track and found like the dumpster and it had like some 2x4s. And so we were burning everything we could to stay warm.
That's awesome.
That's
dude.
awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the firewood until we like showed up, and some racers were like, hey, man, we've got some coming. So appreciate them for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll have to source that next time.
Yeah. No, mistakes were made. These are little fails that are going to make us great in the next 10 years. So
yeah. Hey, you got to learn, hey, we're going to have campfires. You better have wood. Oh shit. Yeah. It's a great thought.
Yeah.
And,
so
Thunder Valley, you came around and were just handing out snacks as well, which was perfect.
Oh.
I was in the perfect spot for that because I was in need of snacks that moment that you come rolling by. So that was awesome.
Well,
tons of snacks from Loves.
So I think that's a good thing, right? We should probably shout out Loves here. We're very fortunate that we have somebody that is pretty high up there at Loves that loves Dragon Drives, and he comes in clutch. Comes in that morning and he's just, Camp Counselor Bob, I got boxes for you. And he opens up the back of his Durango and I'm just like, I have no idea how 13 of us are going to eat all of this. And so we pull it all out. And, after we go to Thunder Valley and stuff, we're sitting there in the morning and I look at it. I'm like, guys, we got to do something. And so the first time my wife, she jumped in the truck, backed up. We threw everything in the back, and that was actually the breakfast. So we were going around, and I was handing out leftover breakfast that my wife had made, and we got that idea. We're like, hey, we should do that with the snacks too. And so because Clint Cantu couldn't make it with his race truck, he brought his Duramax down, and we dropped the tailgate, and we went around, and he tried to solicit children to take candy, and we told him that wasn't okay, and it was a whole thing. But
Nice.
At the end of it, we brought it to you because you were like, hey, we're having a little bit of an emergency. And I was like, I just happen to have snacks. So took them down to your wife there, and, they got distributed, and I didn't have to take them.
Yeah, I don't think I took a breath eating that bag of pork rinds. Not one breath. I was like, give me food.
I didn't even get to try the pork rinds, and from what I hear, they are phenomenal.
Oh, they were great. Yeah, they were great. Even if I wasn't hungry, they would have been great.
Yeah.
The only mistake I made was I threw the gummy bears in the rental car, and they became a gummy bear sitting in the heat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Still ate them while I was driving. I was pulling them apart, but
just kind of gooped it out.
Yeah.
And I guess when we were at Thunder Valley, David Brewer and Megan Allison pulled up, and they actually brought. It was like the most sugary Rice Krispies I've ever had in my life, and they were delicious.
Yes.
They were like every sort of sugary cereal that you could have, and It was, we ate them at 11 o'clock, and I'm pretty sure they were still in my stomach on Monday morning.
Yes. Like, I think I'm still on this high.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. How fun. Well, you said you fed 20-something people with breakfast, dude. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like I said, my wife came in clutch. That first morning, we made migas, which is, we cut up tortillas that first morning we made breakfast tacos. And so, she was slinging eggs, and, Austin Clark was also doing that as well, right? He had made a bunch of breakfast in his camper, and my wife, she was cooking over the campfire, and she brought her skillet, and then made a bunch of tacos. We went down, fed a bunch of people, and then that next day she made migas, which is basically like scrambled eggs, sausage, bacon with cut up corn tortillas that are fried. And after all the campers ate, we still had like 3.5 pounds of it left, so we just started driving around trying to offload some of that stuff.
Dude, that's great. Wow. Well, I appreciate you doing that for sure. All right. Well, listen, you're my guy. I told you this the other day. You're my camp counselor, dude. If we can find a sponsor to take over this thing for the whole year, Camp Counselor Bob's traveling, bud.
I travel for work anyways. I've got a lot of weekends open.
Nice. Well, I'm ready. So if there's any sponsors out there that want to take over the Camp Counselor Bob program, let's do it. We're ready. Because, man, I think it really adds to the drag and drive lifestyle. I think there's a lot of people that probably chose to camp this year that normally wouldn't, simply because we're pushing that so hard.
Oh yeah. I mean, Austin's brother, he camped with his Tesla, had a little tent that, went to the back. And then, on that last night, we definitely need to talk about the, the engine pull story.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, it was just a good time. And I hope that it continues to grow because, it's camping at the racetrack is taking a lot of cost out of drag and drive, right? Drag and drives are getting expensive. This one I'm planning, fuel prices have almost shot. Yeah, it's rough.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Gas prices are the fight club of drag and drive.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's damn near child abuse. All right. But yeah, so the gym hopping thing, right? So, the story is, I sold him my big block, and, we all know it's pretty capable. But he went through, he rebuilt it, he made it, his, so that way he could, have some fun with it. And, he was knocking off time every single pass that he made. He was just going a little faster, a little faster, a little faster. And he pulled up at Thunder Valley into the staging lanes, and that's when that big oil down happened. And so he shut it off, and he's sitting in the staging lanes for 2 hours, and he goes to fire it up, and there's no oil pressure. So he's like, well, shit, what am I going to do, right? And so I was on my way out. I heard that. I came right back around because I'm like, hey, man, I sold this guy an engine. I feel like I feel terrible, even though he rebuilt it, but, still feel terrible. But we pull up there, and he pulls the oil filter apart and cuts it open. He's like, it doesn't look too bad. And I was like, well, do you need anything? He says, no, you can get out of here. We'll see you at the go-kart track. And, I was like, I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to see me at the go-kart track. What he ended up doing is he drained the oil, and he scoped inside of the oil pan, and he noticed that the pickup tube had fallen off.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what does a gangster drag and drive driver do? You take as much oil as you can, and you fill it up past the rail, so that way the oil pump can just suck straight from a reservoir of oil. And you drive it with it cavitating the whole way to the next destination. Yeah. And that's what he did. And him and Aaron, they were thinking about quitting, right? They're like, hey, this is an expensive engine. We really don't need this. But when I heard it, I went up to the owner of that go-kart track. I was like, hey, do you guys have a cherry picker? And he's like, yeah, we've got one back in the back 40 somewhere. And so they threw me in the back of their pickup. And mind you, this thing is clapped out. I am sitting in the back of this thing, and this guy that's driving it does not care that I am in the back of this truck.
No,
he is just bahaing through.
He was having the best time.
Oh, I thought I was going to die. We pull up there, we pick it up, and we put it in the back. He says, I don't have any ratchet straps, so I'm going to need you to hold this in. And he did not slow down.
No, not ever in any of his life has he slowed down.
And so, Jim here, I'm going to pull the messages up just because it was great, but I was checking on Aaron and Jim, and I had said, I was like, hey, are you guys going to make it? And he's like, yeah, we're coming down the interstate. We filled our oil pan all the way up. We'll be there. And so I said, I've got a cherry picker being delivered right now. And he says, he's not really feeling it. I said, it's sitting at my camper as we speak, just in case. He said, all right, we changed our mind. We're on our way. Do you have concrete? I said, right in front of the camper. And, they were like, yeah, thanks for keeping us to the spirit of it. And
nice,
in and out in 5 hours. I had a flux core welder that I brought, and I was like, I don't know, I don't really want to weld something in flux core and put in an engine, but you got to do what you got to do. And so he pulled the oil pump off, and we went into that go-kart track shop, and I just kind of tacked it together, just so we wouldn't get, first off, they were mad because they thought I was going to burn their bench because it was a rubber top bench and they didn't really have a place for me to weld. And I didn't want to burn through anything. And, I don't know if you've ever welded with flux core, but BBs go everywhere. And so I didn't want to get into the pickup tube. So kind of tacked it together, made a couple beads and stuff. And then I think I spent more time cleaning the flux and the BBs off of the oil pump than I did welding it. So as they're getting stuff prepped, I'm sitting over there with a pick after Jim had already done it. And I looked, I was like, I welded this. I don't want to be liable for it. And so I'm sitting there just scraping BBs out of this thing. But yeah, it was the engine was in and out in 5 hours.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So did it break the big block Chevrolet? Is it like a bolt that holds it in? It break the bolt or something?
So they're typically pressed in, but in like a high RPM, and it's actually just a good practice is that you weld the pickup tube. You just do a tack on the pickup tube into the oil pump, and then it has a bolt that has a bracket that holds it up. Well, with a solid mounted motor, a lot of vibration, that pickup tube kind of wiggled, and then it cracked and broke at the mount. And so we had to bevel that a little bit, weld it, and then tack it into the cast. And flux core tacking, steel into, cast is not great. But,
that's awesome.
From what I understand is he made passes the next day and made it home. So,
yeah. How cool, man. That's so fun. And like to be doing that, I think night 2 at the racer party, the only thing that could have made that better is if he was doing that like at the go-kart gate. You know what I mean? Because dude, I don't know how many people, if people made it all the way down to check on those guys, but man, they were having a good time.
Oh, and we have the best community, right? Like people asking, hey, do you need anything? Hey, I've got this in my trailer. It is a 3-day drag and drive, and we have people acting like it's, sick week or, Rocky Mountain Race Week, and we're 1,000 miles in. It's just the camaraderie around these style events is what drives the people in. And it's what's going to continue to grow the sport and the thing that we love.
Oh, for sure. All right. Well, thank you for all the stuff you did for the circuit. Thank you for the cool stories. Bro, tell us about the Great American Detour.
All right. So we are, I don't even know how many days away we are.
It's
right
less
now.
than 50. I mean,
and I don't even have a running car. We're 45 days.
Yeah. Wow.
We're 45 days away from the Great American Detour. Gas prices have doubled. I know we're not supposed to talk about it, but 6,000 miles is a lot of money in gas. But I've put my heart and soul into planning this event.
Yeah.
The first day we have a pizza food truck that pulls up. They can cook 100 pizzas an hour.
Oh, wow.
And so they it's all thin crust. They come out of New York. I've got them guys showing up. The hot rod or the world famous hot rod farm. I said, hey, I'd like to do this. You guys can invite some people if you want. So what they decided to do is they are going to have a car show at the same time. And they're bringing in a couple of their bands, a couple of their friends' bands. They're going to have a whole PA system, and they've got tables set up for us. And, it's going to be great. Those guys have been pretty well accommodating. I just called them, said, this is what I want to do. I can pay you. They said, no, don't worry about it. Just show up.
How cool.
And, from there, we've officially have 4 tracks that we are racing at, right? So we have enough tracks for it to technically be a national level event.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Right. So
it'll be the hardest national level drag and drive in the history of ever.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. And I'm excited for it. I've got a lot of cool people that are doing it. And, without them, there's no way I could. There's Daniel Baisley. He drives a F-150, typically does sick week and stuff. He has been the heaven send for this. Like if I'm busy at work and he's on an airplane, he's sending out emails to vendors. He's sending out emails to tracks. Without him, I don't think I could have got this done.
That's so cool.
And, he's just a racer. He's just volunteered. Hey, anything you need to help. And honestly, the entire group has been great.
Mm-hmm.
My sponsors have been great. We've got BTR, we've got Summit. I mean, Summit's great. Disorganized Grime, they are just a group of racers that help events, and, they put $3,000 at it. So it's like,
awesome.
We have such a phenomenal industry and people that are partnering with me to bring a unique event that no one's ever done before.
Mm-hmm.
It's really heartwarming.
Yeah, it should be, dude.
And
it deserves support. I mean, this thing is awesome.
And so, it's great, right? I reached out to Beaver Springs, and Mike McCracken there, just said, hey, this is my plan. I sent him an email of everything. He says, that sounds great. We can't wait for you to be here. So we're going to go join their Test and Tune as our first track. From there, reached out, and we actually got a hold of, it used to be Killcare, but it's Durana in Xenia, Ohio. That's going to be our second track. It was going to be Bunker Hill, but that was a very long drive to make after racing all day. We would have had to drive like 6 hours overnight to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning to make passes. And so we cut that distance quite a bit by being able to go to Durana in Ohio, and that also adds another state to it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be racing in there. They've got a program, but he's going to race us. We're going to go out first, and then he's going to race us in between rounds. And then, if we want to join the program, he said, the more, the better. And then from there, we are making our way to Wabash Valley, and I rented that track, and it's a slick track. Those guys have been great. Pretty excited to go there. And then it's the hard part, right? Like the first few days, it's going to be hard because you've got track with 500 miles in between or 280 miles in between.
Yep.
But then you have a 1,200 mile leg to Albuquerque.
Come on.
And so you've got, 2 days to get to Albuquerque, and it is through, Oklahoma and the panhandle of Texas, through New Mexico. And then we got to be there from 10 to 6. So we've got, 10 to 6 to make those passes. And then we got 2 days to make it to the end. And that is running July 1st, July 2nd and 3rd through Arizona, and California. And so it is going to be a very hot 1,200-mile leg.
Yeah, but I think it'll be freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
You can't pick a better week than the week America turns 250 years old.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's, the cool thing is, right, when I talked to you about this first, it was we get to drive through the small towns of America leading up to the week of 4th of July. As you're driving at night, you're going to see small towns popping off fireworks. You're going to see all of that stuff. And it's just going to be a really great way to ring in, our love for America. Oh, yeah. And, it's a small event. I think we've got 30 cars that are signed up, right? I don't know what the attrition rate's going to be on it, but, even if you have 10 people cruising across the country, or 10 cars, 20 people cruising across the country, it's going to be great. Yeah. And then, at the end, we're going to be stopping at the Graffiti USA Museum. And, Modesto is very rich in car culture. It's where American Graffiti was filmed. That's where George Lucas grew up. Paradise Road is only like 10 miles away. So, there's going to be a lot of car culture and history throughout this Dragon Drive that everybody can check out. We're going to be going through Indianapolis. So, if we want to slip over to the Slippery Noodle and go take a look at that John Belushi bar, we can do that. There's just a lot of cool things that you get to see that you typically wouldn't.
Well, and to have it on the list, I think is going to make it a lot of fun to, for you to put together 4 tracks as like the host tracks, that grew out of basically necessity.
Yeah.
You were able to put it together for your own stuff, and you were like, hey, if we can do it, let's do it,
Oh, and it was this is a very humbling experience trying to plan an event of this caliber without any experience doing it before, right? Yeah. I was gritting my teeth, and I was fully committed to paying for this all out of pocket, but thank goodness for sponsors. Yeah. Because, American Express would have been real happy with the interest I would have had to pay back to them.
Oh, that's awesome.
But, we're 45 days away. My car's, it's almost done. I would have been done if I wouldn't have turned it to a gasser. I could have just left it pro street. I could have been making passes, but in true Camp Counselor Bob fashion, I'm going to get it done a week beforehand, go test it and hope it works.
Drive it 3,000 plus miles, 3,200 miles.
Yeah. One good thing we got going for us is we've got, I own my own service truck. And so Josh Fox, he's taking a week off of work. He's going to jump in my service truck and he's going to follow us. So we'll have a welder. We'll have everything we need in case anybody on the adventure needs anything. We'll have all the tools you could possibly think of that you would need to fix on the side of the road. If it was a, structured 300 person event, we wouldn't need that. But with, the little amount of cars we have and the big amount of country that we're going to be covering, I think that right there is going to be kind of key to success, because the goal of this one isn't to beat everybody. The goal of this one is to make sure that everybody you show up with makes it there.
Yeah, that's right. Hoosier Truck Rally says, what day are you going to be at Wabash Valley?
We are going to be there Monday, the 29th, I think it is.
Sweet. It's like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. or something like that.
Yep, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
That's awesome. And everybody can find details, the Great American Detour on Facebook's probably, I would say, your most.
Facebook and campcounselorbob.com.
Yep. Dude, I love it. It's so cool, man. I can't wait. This is one I've had on my list for a long time to make it across the country in the old truck. Because, again, my grandfather made that trip at one point, and it's his life of driving that truck. So it's going to be kind of fun to do that. So I'm excited.
Yep. And my plan is I'm taking my shoebox for it. I'm driving the gasser across the country. There's short of a catastrophe, there's nothing stopping me from doing that.
Yeah. So. That'll be so cool. It'll be so cool. All right. We got to go. We got Matt Frost backstage, and got to talk to him about Rocky Mountain Race Week coming up, which you have some good experience with Race Week and Rocky Mountain stuff. So,
Matt Frost events are some of the best I've ever been to. So, I can't wait to listen to him from backstage. It's a whole different experience back here.
Well, dude, we appreciate it again, guys. CampCounselorBob.com, the Great American Detour on Facebook. Get you all kind of details. June 27th through July 4th. The most American way you can spend America turning 250 years old is with Robert Voss right here.
All right. I appreciate it. Love you guys. Bye.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
Love
man.
you. Dude, I can't wait. That's going to be insane.
Oh, it's going to be
Insane.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I definitely hope that there's lots of people recording their adventure across that for us at home to see that, because it's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think Jesse Fox is just going to go live the whole time. Like, he'll be live for 187 hours.
Dude, bring it on.
Whatever it takes. Yeah, Brooks here saying, how y'all affording to take that much time off work? Man, Brooks could definitely benefit with some sponsorship for sure. That dude is fast, on a budget, and man, I love his car too. Yeah, Brandon Morey says, really hope this happens again. Cannonball meets Dragon Drive with a tubbed Maverick and a Pro Tour Pro Street Pinto wagon. Yeah, and I think kind of what the plan is. Let's bring Bob back on one last second. This is like a recurring theme, right? You're already planning 2027's.
Yeah, you know, I tell people I'm not going to do it again. I already have a plan. I've already reached out to a track for a starting point of 2027. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make it a little bit later in the year, just because I'd like it to be a little bit cooler. But I'd also, you know, I don't want to be stacked on top of, you know, such great events, right? Like a few of the people that are joining mine had to miss Rocky Mountain Race Week, and you know that's kind of heartbreaking, because when you have Matt Frost, who puts on an event that, you know, you have people that get the same status of, you know, he looks at people as people and not, hey, these guys are fast, they're bringing me racers. You know, it doesn't matter if you're in a 14-second car or if you're in an 8-second car. If you show up year after year, he honors that. And the fact that, you know, a few of these people can't make that event because I put mine on top of theirs, it really kind of ached at me a little bit. So I'm gonna plan it a little bit better next year.
Gotcha. Well, and dude, listen, the Great American Detour, the trip you're taking that week is a key week. Yeah. I mean, and it's not on top of, it's just in the same month. So whoever is doing both is going to need to start saving up on some time there.
Yeah.
But, sure. Okay. Bro, right. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Thank you to Molly and all the support they provide us over here at Drag Drive Repeat. We appreciate them. Best pistons in the game, whole ring kits, all the stuff. And of course, for Molly Pistons going in Eric's Dragon Drive car, but also big shout out to them because the Lowrys won the Molly Motorsports Power Pack raffle kit and did that the day after they broke a ringland. So perfect setup for them in that regards. I'll let you thank our race car friends while I get me a drink, and then we'll move on. Have Matt Frost on.
Absolutely. Appreciate all of our race car friends being in here, all the comments you guys are making. You know, just like Bob coming on here and talking about his event and camp counselor at the circuit. I mean, all of this stems from all of our race car friends. And of course, all of our sponsors. We couldn't do all this travel and everything that we do without this group of companies here. So thank you to Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performabuilt Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Low Dollar Motorsports, Racing Junk, and PowerTube TV.
All right, let's get into this thing here. Deechworks, of course, leading manufacturer of high-performance fuel system components and the official fuel delivery of Drag Drive Repeat. The DW product line includes fuel injectors, pumps, rails, regulators, filters, lines and fittings, plus pump modules and surge tanks, all engineered to support power levels ranging from 400 to 4,000 plus horsepower. With a focus on engineering excellence and industry-leading customer support, Deechworks continues to drive the future of high-performance fueling. Again, DDR10 for your discount code over there on Deechworks.com, 10% off over there as well. Let's pull this down and let's bring in the man of the hour, Mr. Matt Frost, in here. Hang on, sir. Let me get you moved to the big spot. Dude,
hi.
You're one of our most featured guests. One, it's for two reasons.
Okay.
one, you're a badass dude. Host one of the best events I think is probably out there. A lot of the stuff we do is based on my experience of racing with you guys over at Rocky Mountain, and then of course you're one of the longest promoters in the Drag and Drive game, starting this in 2015, bro. How does that feel?
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. I mean,
It is
you think
crazy.
about that, especially, even just coming off Omega Week. Like, if you think about all of what we've done it's pretty wild. Like, I don't know, it's kind of surreal. If you would have asked me, I would have never told you that, this is where we would be, and that we even, let alone one event, two events, and continuing on the way we have. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see all the cool shit you've done, man. Like the people that have come through Rocky Mountain. I think bringing Drag and Drive as far west as you did really helped spur the community. I mean, before that there was one event. That's it.
Well, it pulled a lot of the west people from the west, and
Yeah.
even in the Colorado area, the people in Colorado don't seem to get out of their own way when it goes to traveling and stuff. A lot of people, so this kind of forced some of them to move that way. It got the people from the west. I mean, just from everywhere. It's surprising to see, how many people, and even that first year, the people that supported it when we had 60 cars, just like, Robert's deal, starting out with 30, that's going to grow. Especially, when people start figuring out your guys' stuff, how much it's grown. We talk about that a lot too. And I'm hoping by maybe next year that I can get in on some of those. It's when you're not in the industry 100% all the time, like you guys are, it makes it kind of tough to be able to do all that, because obviously 2 events in a year, so.
Oh yeah,
but-
you're one of the
but I
busiest
do.
guys I know. Yeah.
Oh my God. So it's just trying to I want to do them. Like, I really do. And
Yeah.
I think I'm supposed to be getting our 55 back at the end of the year. And I'm
Oh,
probably, if we go do a bunch of this kind of stuff, that's probably the car that I want to take do it. And I think that would be like doing the trip that he's doing. Like, that's some stuff that I've even talked about with my own friends. Even aside from race week, we got a bunch of cars that are be getting done at the end of the year, and we're going to start taking a week every year, and not just do racing, just to go to points. Like,
how cool.
you can go down to Albuquerque, and the Young Guns guys, that actually was a real deal, and there's a place that you can go visit down there where that all happened. And just, I've been looking at a lot of history of a lot of different things that would be really cool. And then with me spending a lot of time in Nevada the last couple of years, there is so many cool out in the middle of nowhere roads that just would be insane to have cars like that going down. So,
Dude, that's awesome. We're going to talk about your fleet of hot rods here in a little bit, because I see some cool shit in behind you too. All right. But first up, I want to talk about Rocky Mountain Race Week, because I'm so excited. You guys are going back to the mountains. You're going to be cruising through. You got Great Bend, Kansas, which is awesome. I can't wait to see that thing back open. Kearney, and then all the way down to Pueblo. So this will be a fun one.
yeah, and being able to go back to Great Bend is just going to be amazing. That facility just looks like it's just going to be unreal. And for us to be on top of that again, probably, I think that they said they may have maybe 2 events before us. Last time we were the first event on it, once they got the track put together, and that was awesome at that time. So what they're doing now is, that facility is, I don't think that there's going to be too many facilities as nice as that is with what they've done.
Man, just look at all of that concrete.
Oh my God, it's insane.
All of that virgin concrete, dude. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah, today they just started laying rubber down today at the track, so getting it to where it's ready to go. But that is an amazing facility, and Great Bend in itself, just that town and the way the people come out and support our event, there's nothing like what they do. They roll the red carpet out for us. We're gonna have our pre-party. That basically they're shutting down one of their main streets right in front of the brewery. The brewery's gonna do some stuff for us. I'm trying to figure out if we can get a band involved or not, but basically we just get to fill the whole street with hot rods, and the people. And I imagine this year, with it being so long since they've had a track out there, I just look for it to be flooded with people just trying to get out and just have fun with us. So.
Well, and especially, I mean, dude, you're talking about bringing in 250 real deal streetcars, what I keep saying for the circuit. I mean, but dude, there's like, circuit stuff was fast, but it's like a whole new level for Rocky Mountain. I mean, you guys have done an incredible job.
Well, like, we don't always get all the fastest cars, but it's just, we're right in that mid range of we just have a lot of really cool stuff, and the variety and the different, and even just too, with just even the young kids and stuff that get to come along with that, I think that draws a lot of people into it too, just to see who's coming. And we have the Allsups, they drive that Mustang from California, and they leave like 3 or 4 days I think ahead of time and cruise here. And one of the kids is always the one that's driving it, and Dad helps out. That's just for us, that's what it's about. We do miss out a little bit on some of the faster cars. They don't want to do the trip, and they don't want to climb the mountains or whatnot. But the real people that we have and the families and stuff that come along for this, that's what it's about. Really, for me, that's the true grit of what all these events are about anyways.
Yeah. And dude, getting back into the mountains this year, I think is going to really, you guys have been here, like Tulsa and Oklahoma City and stuff like that the last few years. Being back over there, I think the mountains shots, again, you have a great event. I think we're going to see a whole new level from it, just because there's going to be so many cool shots, because people have been wanting that back so bad.
Yeah. Well, it's just amazing. I mean, when you come from here, when it's 100 degrees down here, and you go up there and it drops 30 degrees from here to there, and you get that relief of 60 to 70, or sometimes it can even be down in the 50s and 60s, depending on what time you hit. It's just amazing. Like and just the weather, and even the little bit of showers that you get, it's some pretty spectacular things. And when you really think about it, and you sit back and you think about being in the hot rods that you can be in, and being up in the canyons of the mountains, there's nothing like that.
Well, and it just takes me back, like we did. When was race week at Bandimere? 23.
Yeah, that was our last year, I think.
Yeah,
up there.
We did an 80-mile drive day because we were at Bandimere twice. It was an 80. Dude, it took us 8 hours to do it, because we were just looking at, like, I rode with Jesse Fox, and we just hung out at like one route stop for 3 hours, because there were so many cars and views and all that kind of cool stuff that was coming in.
Well, on the Lookout Mountain, when you come down remember we were on top of that hill, and you come back down that switchback where you can actually watch all the cars from the top. We wanted to do that for a long time, but the couple of years that we tried doing it, it was foggy up there, so we couldn't. I mean, that's a serious climb right there, and to be able to do that stuff like that, that's what it's about.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm so pumped about this. Again, I feel like the difference that we've seen in the community, even in just the last 3 years, this is going to be a whole new level. And I can't wait to do the nerdy math shit after the run, and see how many new folks came because of this. So that'll be cool.
There definitely is. I mean, Mega Week kind of shook things up just a little bit. There was some people that it didn't work out for them because of how we laid it out. So I think that you're right. There's definitely, from what we've seen, there's quite a few new people that are going to be involved, which is awesome. And it'll balance itself. It was crazy is it did balance itself out. Like, I was really worried, because I honored the people prior to Mega Week that couldn't come in and the people who were at Mega Week. And, I always am like, it's going to work itself out. Like, one of these days that's going to bite me in the butt doing stuff like that. But it did. It really just worked itself out the way it was supposed to. So, just keep rolling with it, I guess.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with getting bit by having too many cars.
Right.
I'll tell you that.
And obviously we've been able to prove that we can actually pull off a lot of cars. So even if we had a little extra, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. I think we kind of finally realized that, hey, we can do some of these things, and we can get through it. Heaven for, I mean, obviously there's nothing you can do about oil downs and weather, but for the most part, we do pretty good, and we usually get it pulled off somehow.
Dude, Mega Week was incredible. As Richard Brewer, the Dirty Panda, said earlier, it broke him. I think he meant that it broke him mentally. He was ready. He's like, he's hooked on drag and drive now. He can't get away from it because of Mega Week. It was pretty incredible, but I cannot imagine trying to put on something like that. That's absolutely insane. So I am glad from this side that you are back to sanity for this year.
It went really, really smooth though. It did way. Yeah. It far exceeded my expectations on how well we did with it. But what's wild about it is it seems like it's been forever since we've done this, because we did it at the beginning of last year. I mean, I'm like, man, I can't wait. We actually get to go see people again and hang out and whatever. It was nice to have that break because we got to do some other racing and stuff. But then you're like, man, it's been a while.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Eric in here saying race weekend was a good time at Pueblo. Looking forward to getting back there. Yeah, that's a really fun track.
Yeah, the race weekend was super fun, and basically I plan on doing it as long as 1.0 does really good and we're good financially wise, I'll probably plan another one. It'll probably be close to like when 2.0 is in the October area, just because you'll see more of the trees changing and stuff like that. But we had so much fun, me and June, and it was just fun. It was fun for us to be able to get in a hot rod and go cruise with everybody. And it was kind of like back in the old days when we first started this, when you could actually race and cruise with the guys.
Yeah. People have asked me, hey, when are you going to get in the seat? I'm like, dude, you can't. You have no time. Like,
you can if you want everything to burn down around you. Sure, you can. Yeah, just don't worry about it. But it ain't going to be there probably next year, because people are going to they'll be lighting you at the torch or something. So.
Oh yeah. I can't believe that guy was racing out there. We spent 2 hours in the lanes.
Yep.
Yeah,
people don't understand. That's the part which people don't realize is there's so many things that we're spending our time putting out fires, and they're not big fires, but that's what makes the difference between a good event and an okay event. Is you have to be on top of those things, and you got to get on top of it, and you got to get somebody to simmer down if they're upset, because then that just everybody's mood changes, and then sometimes I get upset and my mood changes. So whatever, it is what it is.
Melissa jokes that she's going to put a balloon on me so she'll know where I'm at. She's like, don't let that guy get out of my sight.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. Well, let's talk about one thing people hear in this. You talk about Great Bend, Kansas. You talk about Kearney, Nebraska. You talk about Pueblo, Colorado. What kind of mileage are folks looking at as they come into Rocky Mountain Race Week?
So generally, it's crazy, because we've had some times where it actually landed right at 1,320 miles. It's been 1,400 miles. We don't actually know what the mileage is yet, because we have not done the route yet. We have been super busy, and it's been crazy around here. So probably next week we'll go do it. You got
plenty of time. You got 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah, that'll be, and we still have all the other stuff to do. But yes, and on top of that, we try to wait. Really try to wait, because it's such a long drive that, one year we did the route 2 weeks before we were supposed to come, and Highway 14, they didn't just take one lane out of it to pave it. They took the whole entire road was gone. I'm not talking about just like milled. Like, they took it all the way down to the dirt. And here we are running all these cars in this. It was ridiculous. Like, I almost got the tow rig stuck, because the millings were so thick where they had put it to the side. And it happened in 2 weeks from the time that we went in. So we try to make sure that we wait till the last minute to do the routes, just because you never know what these roads are going to be like.
That's awesome. So now, in that case, are you reaching out to volunteers trying to, hey, if you live up near Kearney, can you run this 200 miles of road? Or
no, we're going to do the whole thing ourselves this time.
Wow.
Me and June are going to get in the truck and go. We have done that in the past. It does okay most of the time, but I want to try to get us out there during the week so we can actually get to some of these places we want to do the stops. We have quite a few prospects, right? But it's just a matter of what routes we go that is going to decide whether we stop where we stop. The one that we know 100% that we're doing is we are stopping at Mark Williams on the drive day from Kearney to Pueblo. We definitely will be doing that. There's some stuff out in the Nebraska, Kansas area that we have prospects, so we just have to get the route figured out to make sure if we're going to. I don't want to get everybody too far off the path just because it is so far of a drive.
Yeah. I think Kearney to Pueblo is like 400 or something like that, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be probably something like that, because if you think about it, usually we stop at Bannermere and then we split that. So this time we're going to try to kind of cut it across a little bit, so it's going to save a little bit of time, but you're still going to end up back out up in the mountains and come back down. So it's a journey, but for those that don't know, we have drive days. Like, this isn't just you're done racing and you got to try to get there the next day, which we used to do that. Like, you used to have to make it from one place to the other, and it was brutal. I drove my own my Nova, and we did that. It was definitely brutal especially if you started having problems. But since then, we've done drive days. And then the other thing that's different about this than you see at most events is we drive during the day and we race at night. And
I love that.
We do that for several reasons. One reason is there's not a time that I can remember that you drove all day and then got to the track and was like, man, I'm just too tired to go race my car. Because you're not going to do that. The other way around, it is when you go there and you race your car and then you got to get in the car and go drive it, you get tired as you're driving. So and the other side of that is I've spent a lot of time in the middle of the night waiting for business to open to get a part. So when you're driving during the day, you generally can find somebody that's open, a shop or whatever, and you just have. And people are like, well, that doesn't make sense. you got less time. Well, you don't. The hours are the hours, regardless of which way you do it. It's just you got a lot more hours where you have daylight and places open during the day.
Well, and I'll say this, Steven and his co-pilot Blake, they'll typically race and then they'll drive, say halfway to the next track at night because you're on that level of adrenaline. I like the racing at night from a promoter standpoint, and Eric and I are even talking about this, like trying to figure this out for next year for the circuit, because it allows for more people to come in, especially during the week when, like a national event like what you're running, you need that, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on a Tuesday is tough for folks, but 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. is great. One, for spectators, but two, the track gets better. Dude, how many times have we seen somebody hang out all night long and then go a PB at the end of the night because the track is good, because it's got plenty of rubber down. But then two, the temp has dropped 28 degrees and now the DA is great.
Yeah, you got the best of both worlds, where when you start in the morning, you only got a very small window, and I mean, it's right, the hours are hours, so but it's still, you have more options as it gets cooler in the evening with the better air and the traction, versus you can stay later if you just want to hang out and wait the time to get it done, versus you may only have until 11 o'clock or even 10, 11 o'clock, and it may be too hot for you to get that pass that you wanted, the one that you really wanted in the daytime.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so last question for this segment. Can people show up day zero? Can they just show up in tech?
I'm gonna say we've never turned anybody down. I did one time. We might have turned maybe one person down. I went to go turn somebody down one time, and they started walking away, and I chased after them and brought them back because I was super upset that I was going to turn them away. So, and they've been with us ever since then. So, yeah. So,
and that is one of the struggles of drag and drive racing, is like we really are limited to a certain car count based on the staff we bring, one, but then two, track setup. If you have too many cars, we've all seen what that does. So Lena, we don't like that. We don't want that. But as you lead into the next few weeks, folks, get on the wait list now. That way, one, they have your info, so it's easy to move you up to a racer spot. But then two, get your car ready. Be ready to race is what I'm going to say. Like, don't use that as an excuse. If you were going to go to Rocky Mountain, you didn't get on the list, get on the wait list and get ready.
Well, and in the last probably 3 years, we almost pretty much always make it completely through the wait list, because people just don't prepare themselves to get that phone call. So we just keep going to the next person. And we all know this, this, and pretty much anybody that has anything to do with drag and drive promotion, you can almost bet that you're going to lose somewhere between, if I had to guess, 10 and 12% is not going to show up, just because I've done it.
Tell you.
No, I've done it.
They're just going to,
They're not coming. You thought you were going to have that car done. Time got away from you, and the next thing you know, it's just not done, and you don't go. I've signed up for stuff, and it's happened to me. It's happened to everybody, and it happens every year. But there's, I think the only years that, and when I did, I think, have to turn that person down or whatever, and I went and chased them back, that was probably in the COVID time where everybody was at home, so they got their cars built, right? So everybody had their stuff done. Like, there was no excuses because you weren't working, you were at home. So. But since then, I think that there's always been an opportunity for people to get in. I can't always, we can't 100% say if you got 100 cars show up, well then, you're probably going to turn somebody down. But realistically, you usually see maybe 8 to 12 people show up at, the day of, and they're coming. We're taking you. So.
And one of the cool things, sorry, this will be the last part of the segment, I promise. One of the cool things that is, if you do show up and you do race with Matt, you're there on day one and you tear your shit up, you get veteran entrant next year. So you get the first crack at it the next year, which, I mean, dude, I love that. I think it's one of the greatest things, and it's why we do it at the circuit. Like, it just continues to build the community within that event. But it also, like, then hey, if I'm going to take a week off and I'm going to do a drag and drive, I'm going to Rocky Mountain because I know I've got a spot.
Well, that's it. It's strategy on our part. I mean, that was what the beginning of it was, because you're sucking them, you're sucking these people back into it. Like, they're going to want to do that so they don't lose their spot. That's smart on our side of it. But not only is it that case, like, it's not just about that for me. The other part of it is you're not just number. Like Robert was saying, you're not just a number. Like now you have the opportunity. You can work on your car all year and build your car and get it faster and do whatever. And you've got that spot to come back to. Plus, on our side of it, what I look at it is the biggest part is it creates the culture of our event. You don't have a flood of people who don't know how this works. You know, you have other people that can teach them and show them what happens. So all those things are true together. Like it's just a huge way to keep everybody involved and just to keep the culture, and it's awesome. I wish that more places would do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, big shout out to Deechworks. Just want to say thanks to them again. Brought 2 cars to the circuit, both of them broke. These guys are coming back in 2027. I can tell you already. They want redemption, and then of course sponsoring our racer party. Without them, the go-karts wouldn't happen. So appreciate them and all the support they give us. Next up, Performer Built Transmissions, best GM transmission builders out there. Eric, if you want to do the ad read, we'll move into some fun stories.
All right. Performer Built is the official transmission builder of Drag Drive Repeat. At Performer Built Transmissions, their goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. Performer Built doesn't just rebuild transmissions, they systematically re-engineer each model to eliminate OEM flaws and to achieve the highest levels of performance. That is why they say their transmissions are not just built, they are Performa built. So in here, we're going to talk a little bit about some fun stories. I think what's the first thing you have in here? You want to talk about the Kyle Loftus and 1320 video stories?
I think so. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. So I don't think it's any secret to anybody that Kyle passed away, which is very, very fortunate. Unfortunate for all of us. He was a great advocate to me to continue to keep race week going when in the first years when it's not a fun story, but it is what it is. There was a couple of years where I was losing my business. Things weren't good for the oil field and stuff like that. And so I didn't know if I was going to be able to afford to keep doing it. And the sponsors weren't, we didn't have a whole lot of sponsors. I was funding a ton of it and I was about ready to give up. And there was several times that Kyle called me and said, "Hey, just keep doing what you're doing. This is going to do what it needs to do. You got to hang on with this or whatever." So he was a big force. And, fun wise of it, I'm super happy that those guys, it was a few years ago when they ran his car, all of the 1320 guys ran that car. I mean, they ran the wheels off of that thing, and it was awesome. I'm so happy. You don't realize at times when things happen, they happen for a reason, I think. And you learn this as we get older, that when you look back at things, you're very grateful that things happen in a certain way because of an outcome that comes on later on in life. And that was one of those things that I can go back to and think, those guys had some really cool moments with that. When he had his Audi and he ran that, those are the things that probably, besides what he's done for the event and what that does for the people, the videos and stuff like that. But the times that they've had actually fun competing in the event, I think that's pretty awesome.
Dude, they thrashed that thing. I think that was race week 23, right? Like,
yeah, I think it was. Yes,
thrashed that thing.
Yeah.
At one point, I think they looped it around. It was late in the evening, but I think they looped it around like it had to be 4 or 5 times, and they were all standing there. They were all getting content as the next person drove up. They would all run back to the lanes, swap drivers, pull up, do a big gnarly burnout, and then make a pass. And like all the whole 1320 team were standing there to do that. It was really cool to see that go down.
It was. Yeah, pretty awesome to see that. I feel sorry for that car, but those guys did awesome with that for sure.
Yeah. Man, he really was a driving force. Just the coverage provided from 1320 for race week was great. Especially the early days, like when you had 100, 150 cars, like, doing what they did for just drag and drive and Rocky Mountain in particular, like capturing all of that fun stuff. That stuff we'll have forever. You know what I mean?
It is.
YouTube going anywhere ever.
And I was honored that, he allowed us to put 1320 on, as our title. I talked to him and I'm like, we don't have a title sponsor. You guys put a lot of time and effort into what we do. Can we use you as our title sponsor? And that as long as they wanted to be a title sponsor, that was what we were going to do. And so that was my kind of way of, I was honored, and then also kind of felt like that gave back to them for what they did. But I don't think sometimes they even really understand the impact on like even the kids and stuff like that, what that did for them and how many stars came from the Dragon Drive because of their videos. I mean, and all of what we have as far as drag racing goes. I posted something the other day. Besides a national event, NHRA, a lot of what is today is because of what they did, what he did, and I, it's unfortunate. I can't even wrap my head around why things happen the way that they did, because, it's something that probably nobody will really ever wants to talk about. But the reality of it is you can have everything going on in your life the way that you think that it should from the outside. Everybody can look at that, but people still fight with things. And I think with any of us, especially you, Kyle, I'm big about that stuff. Like, we take a lot of things to heart. It wears on us probably more than people realize, and everything looks great from the outside. But when you think about sometimes like how we end up feeling about things because we do things because of our heart, like, it wears on people. And I'm not speculating on why anything was that way. I'm just saying you really sometimes you got to think that everything always looks good from the outside, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's how people are on the inside.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys racing, man, what just a cool experience. And like, your time with those guys was pivotal in their coverage as well. Like, they were figuring this whole thing out. They had done Drag Week since 05 and all that kind of stuff, but like, this was a whole new way to cover the sport in spots that Drag Week Drag Week's never been that far west.
Well, just look at how just the craziness of what it would take to edit everything and get it out in the time frame that they did, because you're traveling, it's just wild. And, and something that even was a way back, it doesn't have anything to do with this, but we were at Vegas for, this was like way early on. He'd bought a van. Kyle bought a van for their guys, and we had rented some vans, and we were at Streetcar Nationals, right? And burnouts were being done with the vans, like burnouts to like where there was no rubber, like the ground was gone because the tires were gone. And it was after that there was, I'm pretty sure that he had made a deal with basically those guys were not allowed to ever do burnouts in his cars anymore because everything was tore up. Like, everything was tore up. So, but it's just amazing to see how you're right. The week long of just the editing and getting that stuff out. And I think that was even like Garrett and just trying to figure out all the stuff that they needed to do to get that content out. And nobody was really doing that at the time. Nobody was doing those kind of things. So that branched off to some of the other people, and look at what he did, how that basically put everybody else in the positions that they're in now, and how they are editing content and getting it out the same day or the next morning and all that stuff. I think that was all kind of based off of how this all started.
Oh yeah. I mean, the days of you going home and editing after you get to the house are over. It's just, I mean, that's why we hit Brian. Shout out to Brian, our video editor. I mean, he'll be working on this stuff tonight, while we get done with this. All right. Let's talk about some fun stories from Rocky Mountain Race Week experiences. The first one that's up here is Mr. Jason Hurley swapping engine in the Lowe's parking lot from the twin turbo big block in the Firebird to a carbureted
motor
that came out from under a bench that was in an RV. One of my favorite stories of all of Rocky Mountain Race Week lore.
Well, he's always done crazy stuff like that. I mean, the bearings that they've rolled, I mean, that was wild. And it's what's great is that's, I think, my favorite part of that, not only that they did it, but just the fact of that when people really pay attention and see where the gray areas are in rules. Listen, all rules have gray areas. And if you can figure out the gray area of a rule, by all means, and at least for me, do whatever you think to do, as long as it's within the gray area and it's not like actually breaking the rule. And he did exactly that. And I'm sure there were some people pissed that that's how that went down. But I mean, how are you going to be mad at somebody that took that much time and effort to I mean, you're talking everything. Like everything had to be swapped over. You're not talking like this is just we're changing this motor for that motor. Like you had to think about how you were going to do this, what exhaust you were going to use, all of it. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, flip the manifolds over, bent some tubing up to get it out the car. No mufflers on a bone stock 454 with like a 600 CFM carburetor for 400 miles. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, could you imagine breathing all that nasty? I mean, it ain't tuned, so you're just raw fuel, just breathing that the whole entire way. Sounding like a tractor going down the road.
Oh man, it definitely did. And then had the converter from the turbo setup in it, and like that hated its life. He said it was so tight it was barely even stop.
Oh, good times. And we've had some pretty great ones like that. Right, I think it was the first year, Bob Ruppel, Big Block Bob, he lost the motor just outside of Pueblo, and there's a little cafe out there, and there was a place across the street that had a hoist, and they found some way to get a motor. I think it was a motor. He completely redid the motor. We've seen the Wilsons. They've blown up. Those guys have blown up some stuff.
Oh, and dude, big time.
There's some stuff that's come out of junkyards that they've stuck their finger in there and swiped the rocks and dirt out of the cylinders and the intake and thrown the stuff together and got on their way, rear ends, trannies, the stuff that these guys. And that was what I was concerned about even our first year is people going to do what the drag week guys do? Like, I'm like, there's no way. They're going to break down. They're going to load them up. They're going to go home. No, it wasn't like that. Like once everybody started getting rolling, nobody was going to do that. It wasn't happening.
Oh yeah.
And I wouldn't let
it. Swap club.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a very big advocate. I will goat you until I can get you to do something if I think that it's possible for you to fix it. If you see me come by your camp and you're probably wanting to give up, you probably just prepare that you're going to fix your stuff because I'm pushing you to fix it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a bad influence. Jason Hurley said, I wish I would have thought to put an externally balanced flex plate on it, though.
Oh,
it vibrated just a tad. Oh, man.
Awesome.
Vince Rui, turbo block-off plates for the wind.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dustin Cottle's done that. We actually, Dustin saved the day at the circuit for Chris Padgett when he swapped,
his turbo,
put it on there and drove it back to the track to get it fixed. I mean, dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, there's that famous picture of single turbo on the back window. Yeah. And if you didn't know, you didn't know, but if you knew, you knew, So.
I was in the group chat with Hurley and Nico and a bunch of those guys, and Nico said, hey man, just the multitude of axles in the Malibu and the ring gear. And he said, Matt was telling me last year, every time I was up at the water box, he was like, please don't break your shit. He said, I gave that man PTSD every time I pulled into the lanes.
Well, I always prepared that there was going to be a Malibu, their G body. I don't even know if it is Malibu. I think it is. Yeah. On a jack stands with the welder out with the rear end cover off of it in front of the whatever bus or straight, whatever we were doing, So, yeah.
Yeah, that guy went through some stuff. How about gas in the merch bus?
Oh God. Yeah. We ran it out of fuel twice in the same week. So,
dude.
Well, it didn't have a fuel gauge when we first got it, and it has this screwy deal on it where for RTD it's got this deal and they just stick it in there, and then it has this weird, it's like a weird fuel deal. We've got it all repaired and fixed now, but I'm thinking this thing's got like a 200-gallon tank in it. So I'm like, oh, we're fine. So this is how dumb it was. We were at the fuel station fueling up my pickup, and I'm like, oh yeah, the bus is fine. We don't need to put fuel in the bus. It's got like 200-gallon tank in there. We get like a quarter of a mile from the freaking fuel station, and the damn thing runs out of fuel.
That's awesome.
And then the second time, the wind was blowing, headwind coming back, and luckily the Washington guys they passed us, and they had a big transfer tank, so they whipped around and come back. Nate and them whipped around and come back, and they got us fuel and got us going again. But it does have a fuel gauge in it now. But I have ran out of fuel a few times with the tow pigs over the years. It's not just the bus.
Oh my gosh.
The bus is awesome, by the way. We love the bus. That's pretty cool.
Listen, you've motivated me with the bus. I really, man, I've been deciding on what to do, and I think that's one of the best moves.
Yeah, it's cheap. And the thing you got to think about is if you get it from like RTD or one of those places, the maintenance program on that is excellent. They don't have a choice but to have it maintenance the way that it needs to be done. All I can tell you is don't put any electrical stuff in the bus. Don't mess with anything electrical the day before or the week before you leave with your bus, because it will cause you problems. We have had several times we've changed something and we were here for hours trying to figure out what got screwed up to get the bus to work again. So don't do that.
That's awesome. How about some? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the next thing here is the Barbie doll trophies.
Oh, yeah. So those might come back. We are thinking about next year maybe doing a comeback of those, but a better version of that. So the story is on that is our trophy guy didn't quite get the trophies done, and we didn't know what we were going to do. They were wet and they didn't turn out good, and he was on his way to deliver them and was in the back of the truck trying to put them together while he was painting them. I don't know what happened, but for some reason they didn't get done, and we didn't know what we were doing. And I'm just beside myself. I'm like, what are we gonna do? So Janelle, my stepdaughter, June's daughter, she's like, Barbie dolls, and I walked away. I'm like, whatever, and I walked away, and then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, Barbie dolls. Okay, so I sent the girls went to go find every Barbie doll that they could find at every store, and I think that they probably thought they were crazy because there's 100 Barbie dolls, right? And I had them get silver spray paint and gold spray paint. I think that was silver and gold, and then I had them get tiles, like regular square tiles for your house, and then we got glue guns, and we're behind the trailer spray painting Barbies and hot gluing them to tiles. And that is what we sent out for. They weren't Barbie dolls. They were wallets, is what we called them. They're wallets.
Wallets. Dude, that's so cool. Yeah. Mr. Jared says best trophies ever. I've never wanted to win a trophy more.
So they might come back. I'm thinking of an idea of where we could do them and make them so that they didn't. I'm sure that there was a lot of them that they probably didn't make it all the way home in one piece because the glue broke off or whatever. But for a little while, like people were making racetracks and they had their Barbie out there with the flag, and there was all kinds of pictures being made with these Barbies and stuff like that. So it was pretty awesome. Like it was a great way to end it without being completely humiliated because we didn't have any trophies. So
oh man, right. Dude, what a great story though. You know what I mean? And it comes down to that kind of stuff, quick action.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. There are certain things that you're good at. You're not good at it just because you do it. You're good at it because you figure out how to fix the mess ups and still make it look like you knew what you were doing. So,
yep.
Right. Next one here, rain in 2023 and trying to find a place to host the awards.
I think it was race week. That was an interesting time.
It was at Kearney. It was raining and we didn't have a place, and I got with Joe and we figured out this big building, and like we loaded everything up. We went from the track and went straight to the building. Oh, and that was, I kind of screw things up sometimes. They thought the door was open all the way, and it was big enough that I could take the big 53-foot trailer right in there and turn it around and park it in there, and then we could take everything out of it. Well, they're yelling at me, so I'm thinking that everybody's yelling because we're coming in with the trailer. Like, yeah, no, they're yelling at me because the door ain't up all the way, and I took the freaking air conditioner right off the top of the trailer as I was going into the building. So, yeah, good times. But that was another one of those deals where we had to figure out something and we made it work. And we've had some issues too where the weather has come in really bad at Great Bend, and they've been really cool about the buildings that are on the other side of the track. We opened all those buildings and we had all 200 and some cars, 280 or whatever was there at that time. I think it was at the end, but they were all inside those buildings, and we did the awards in there. That was pretty cool too, that they just opened all that up and we put everything in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, what a fun.
The last one here is the Havlic's transmission line repair.
The Havlic's transmission line repair.
When you drug the transmission line apart, was that?
It was an oil line.
Oil line.
Yeah. So my diaper or my pan holds the oil lines up underneath the car, and I still have them zip tied up there, even though that holds them up there. But we take it off when we're driving because of the heat. Try to keep the heat out of it. Well, me and Brandon are driving along, and all of a sudden we're starting to see oil pressure problems. And the oil pressure keeps going down, and like, what in the heck is going on? So we waited. It was crazy because it went like basically went from 10, and it's just a countdown. And right when it got to about 3, I clipped it off and pull over, and Brent gets out. He says, "Well, I know why we have an oil pressure problem." I said, "Why?" He says, "Because if you look down the car, the oil is as far as you can see." So what it done is that the return line actually dragged the ground, and it basically cut it, so it was dumping it out of there. So we're sitting there trying to figure out what we're going to do to repair the car. Well, here comes a police car, and this lady's coming in hot. And I'm like, wonder where she's going. Well, she comes in and whips right behind us, and she says, "What's going on here? What did you run into?" And I said, "Well, I didn't run into anything. Why?" She's like, "Well, I got a call that there's a wreck, and why is there pieces of your car laying out all over the place?" I'm like, "Well, because it's broke down and we're trying to fix it. The hood was out there, you know." So, I mean, I guess if you come up on it, it might have looked like we ran into something because there's shit everywhere, but it wasn't. So she took a picture with us or whatever, and then we went. Luckily, there was somebody, I can't remember who it was, but there was a supply company that was on site at Havoc Steel. They had some of the fittings, and we coupled it back together. And actually, we did really good because there was a wreck on the bridge. So everybody else was stuck at the bridge while we're repairing the car. And then by the time we got the car fixed and got oil, after we did the oil change and put it all back in there, we went right across the bridge while everybody else had sat there for half the day. So
yeah, man, what a crazy time. What a crazy time.
But we made it. I mean, it was just true drag and drive style. Like something broke, we fixed it and we made it back and we completed the trip. So
yeah, because I think we pulled up like right behind you right after you had pulled over and got out.
Yeah, we started seeing this line of oil, and we just, dude, I think it was 2 miles we followed it. We're like, this isn't good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was time to change the oil in it. We had to race the next day, so that's just easy. We just were helping with, keeping the dust control, I guess.
Right. Well, Braxton Carpenter says, for newbies, how much emphasis should we put on having a tight schedule? ?
I mean, you want to stick to your schedule, and you want to make sure that it depends, I guess. It depends on what your vehicle is. If you're worried about having issues and stuff like that, you want to stay ahead of your schedule because it can, it'll get you. The nice thing about it is,
don't think you have plenty of time.
No, because it will bite you. I think the biggest part about it is just know that you plan your plan, how you're going to do it, and you try to stick to that. The nice thing about how our stuff is you always have, there's a little bit of forgiveness there because you do have your drive days, right? And then you have that drive day to get all the way to Colorado, and then we don't race until 3:00 the next day. So you not only have your drive day, then you have all of the next day if you have a problem. I think the biggest part is when you start looking at, like, when you go from Great Bend to Kearney, you only have that time to get from there to there. But the nice thing is as long as you get there and you're there within 20 minutes of, say, the track shutting down, you'll be okay to make your pass because especially if you've got a problem, because what we do have, but you can't do that every day. We have a deal. It's basically a get out of jail free card. It's a fast pass. And so if you come in hot, right, and it's at the end of the night, you don't think you're going to be able to get it, you throw that card out, you give that to Ron, you go into a lane. As soon as he can get you in, he sends you down the track. So that's the one time you can do that. But we have had guys, I mean, it's been right down to the wire where we've had guys drop the trailer in the staging lanes.
Azim Sheik. Azim and Elite, I think they were in the Camaro one year, and literally 10 minutes till they pull in the car. I don't think he had a trailer then, and he is completely unloading the car. They're just throwing it on the ground, just throwing it on. They're like, swap tires, and they're both working on it. It was awesome to see.
And they were a long ways away because they were here at my house changing the transmission. Like, they took the tranny out of the car, took some parts out of a tranny we had here, put it in their transmission, and they still had to drive. Was that to Bannerman or Pueblo? Was it Pueblo that they had to come in? Bannerman. So they still had to drive from here, which is still, with traffic, it's a couple hours to get to Bannerman from here. So, they had it down to the wire. But Keith DeCague, when way back, he had a Fox Body Mustang, and he had nothing but problems. And they rolled up. They didn't even unload the car. They just dumped the trailer off of the off the car and went right up and clipped it, and that was just so they could stay in competition.
That's awesome. Don McGinnis says, is Doug Klein coming back this year?
I haven't heard anything. I sure wish he would. I don't think so. Awesome. I know that he's been trying really hard to get that car done. I haven't talked to him probably 6-8 months, but he definitely was trying to make the return, but I haven't heard anything, so I don't think so.
Yeah. One great tip from Danny here. It says, bring a sleeping bag into Colorado. Evenings can get down to 50 degrees. I think it was colder than that when we were there for race week. He said, if you don't, you will freeze your freaking ass off.
Well, you could even see snow up in the mountain. I mean, it was first week of June, and it's not uncommon for there to be snow. Like sometimes we've had snow.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Last thing here, Jason Hurley sent this over with a note, and he said, ask him about the time he stole Bobby Joe's shirt and put it on. I think it was a volleyball shirt or maybe a cheerleader shirt. God. Have to see if I can find the pic. I bet June has
it. You better not have that picture.
And then he sent it to me. And so we're going to show it here.
Great.
Because how fun is this?
I don't even know what was going on that I stuck that shirt on. It was... Yeah, I don't know. I can't even tell you. I don't have words for that. Just that I wish that was not where it could be posted.
These are the things that make Drag and Drop fun, and Drag and Drop promoters need to do goofy shit like that to have a blast.
Yeah.
How fun!
Between that and all the goofy stickers that are everywhere, all over the country now of my face.
Bro, I have two on this laptop right here. I call it my work harder stickers. I have one on the outside, and if I walk by my I usually just use the dinner table as my desk. If I walk by and it's closed, there's one on the outside that's you eyeballs here, says get to work, and then when I open it up, there's another one just telling me you can do more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're still hanging Bobby Joe has park shower.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
they're still there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think Bobby Joe had some pretty choice words for me after I wore her shirt. I don't believe I think something of the effect of that she is never wearing that shirt again is what I think I got told.
That's awesome. Big shout out to Performa Built for being involved with us here at Drag Driver Pete, man. We appreciate them, guys. They've put a 4L60 in the 7s. I don't think I have to tell you how awesome they are to build GM transmissions. That's all they focus on. 4L stuff, 4L60 and 80. And then also they're getting into some 6L stuff as well. They only do performance stuff. So if you need a regular one for your regular tow truck, you can hit them up, but it's going to be badass, I promise. All right. Eric, you want to lead us into some AFCO stuff, and we'll wrap this thing up with some fun questions about the Hulk?
All right. Racers know when you want performance that wins, you want AFCO. From shocks and suspension to cooling, brakes, and more, AFCO Racing has been helping teams go faster for over 30 years. Built by racers for racers, check out the AFCO Advantage and follow them today on social media for the latest in performance parts. AFCO Racing, built to win. So first thing we're going to talk about here is you just made a post recently about making a change to turbos for the Hulk. So what is the setup on it now?
So we went with some HPT twin 88s is what's on there, and those are some amazing turbos. The quality of those are something else, and we were actually going to try to go to something bigger. I was originally looking at like a 91, and we started communicating back and forth. They're very good people to deal with, and I gave them the horsepower rating and all the stuff that we wanted to do and the weight of the car, and they came back and they said, we feel like the 88's the way to go. So that's what we put on there. Brent Coddington is doing all of the hot side and cold side, and he's amazing. He just, I mean, the packaging on how he does stuff, it just blows my mind. We are going to have it's going to be a little difficult to get to the spark plugs on that car. They'll have to be coming in from the bottom, but there really wasn't no way to package it the way we wanted it to get the weight where we wanted it without having to sacrifice a little bit.
Yeah. Wow. And it looks incredible.
Yeah, he did a really good job on it. It's amazing. And that, I think, this is going to be it. I know you asked me something about if it had twins on it before, and it had. The original, it actually had a small block in it when I first did it. I was trying to go to Drag Week, and I put a small block. It was like a 415, and I think I had 76s on it at the time, and it just didn't make the horsepower that we wanted. It wasn't going to do what I wanted to do to run unlimited. So we never went, and we actually took the motor out of the car. We built a 632 and had Pro Mod 88s on it at that time. Now, we've learned a lot since then. And the technology is way better than what it was back in 2015. But the car weighed a bunch back then. It was like almost 3,600 pounds with me in the car, and we went 7.0 at 201 or 203. I can't remember what it was. Somewhere in the 200 mile an hour mark. With it back then, and that was pretty impressive for what that was then. Now, with this setup, I mean, there should be no reason. I mean, we're gonna have to figure some stuff out. But I would see, I want to chase down that. If we can do a 640, 650, if we can get to that point, that's a goal. But I do believe that the car can do better than that.
Wow, man, that's incredible. Will you be in unlimited or unlimited iron with that car?
Man, it's hard to say. I mean, that it fits the unlimited iron, so that's probably I can't remember what I signed up for, but that's probably where we'll be, is in the unlimited iron. Yeah.
So I guess that probably answers my next question. So drag week 26?
Yes, sir. Yep, that's
our
goal. I have finished race week, but we just have never finished drag week, and something that's a bucket list thing. So I'm hoping this year we can get it done. Who knows? There's no way to tell, but we feel like we'll have our ducks in a row, and that's our goal. Our goal is to go out there this year and, try to be in that 6-second average, whatever it may be at that point, but just try to be have the average be 6 seconds. And, that car, the one thing about that car that probably, some people don't realize, but that car is still an all steel car. The fenders, the doors, the hood's aluminum. It's a handmade aluminum hood. The only carbon on it is the trunk lid and the bumpers. But when you start looking at it as an all steel car and what we should be able to do with it, that's got to put that probably pretty high up in there as far as a street car that's still an all steel car like that. So that's cool.
That's badass. Yeah. That's badass. Yeah, I'm excited to see that out. And dude, the plan as of right now is for Eric and I both to go to drag week. Obviously there's, with you going, a dude named Larry Larson that held the record at Rocky Mountain going. Kind of excited to see all of this come down. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be really fun. This year is going to be next level shit. I mean, Ned Dunphy was on a couple weeks ago, and I mean, he said they are solely focused on a new record. So.
For sure. And I think what it comes down to too, I mean, we've talked about this before, and you know how I feel about the mileage stuff, but in this situation, I mean, it works out. It's definitely a shorter mileage too. So it'll give the opportunity for those cars to, maybe stay together and be able to do it. I know we need it. I mean, I need it to be shorter mileage just because of the motor that's in my car. I don't trust it yet. So if we can get the shorter mileage to make that happen, then no, it's fine. All the bad stuff's been fixed on the car. So I think we'll be good. But like last year when we blew it, or not last year, the year before that, I mean, we sent that blower to the moon, I mean, it blew it up big time. Like that thing blew up like you wouldn't believe. It bent all of the front supports in the front of the car. Yeah. And then after we thrashed all day to try to get that thing put back together, and then realized we had transmission problems, you don't want to give up, but we knew what we were up against, and trying to get to where we needed to go at the next track, it just wasn't going to be possible. So this year, cross our fingers, we can actually get it done.
Man, that's awesome. I can't wait. Cannot wait. Well, let's walk through, because people see some cool stuff over your shoulder there. What's the fleet of hot rods in the Frost family there?
Well, that one that you see right here, that is the 57 Gasser Corvette that I just got back from paint. I'm starting to put it together. That's going to be an aluminum big block blown deal. You probably won't see this much at the track, because this is a tribute car to Gasser, and it's also my uncle passed away. I inherited the car after. What happened was we found the car together. I found it. He wanted it. I let him have the car, but it was on the premise that if something happened to him or he was to sell it, I was going to end up with it back. Well, he passed away. I ended up with the car back. Now I'm finishing it the way he wanted it finished. Basically, my colors, some of my spin on it, but most of the stuff that's on there, fab-wise and stuff, was stuff he did. I've just done a little bit different things. And then so we have this. I hope I get my 55 back at the end of the year. I sold it, and the guy, he's about ready to want to sell it back, so I think we'll get it back. We've got June's 63 Nova that I completely did myself. I built that whole car, minus the stuff that Brent does, wiring and some fabrication. But for the most part, and some of the body work, we did all the fab. I did all the cage. I can't say I did all the car, but a lot of that car I did myself. I have that one. We have the Hulk. We've got the 32 Ford Coupe that I've had since I was 26 years old when I built that car. That was the fastest Colorado street outlaw car for the longest time. I held the record here. And then I have my 72 Camaro that I gave to Cameron, my son. It's the orange one that I finished that one right out of high school. So we have all those. And then we have the boys. So Cameron's got the Camaro now. Easton's got a little Maverick. Tyson's got a Mustang that he ran at Mega Week. And he's building a little Chevy pickup truck with an LS and twin turbos in it. And yeah, so I mean, we've got a lot of stuff going on. And then I just started the Hilltop Speed Shop back up, so we're doing customer cars again, and we've been busy. I put a paint booth in the last couple months. Wow. I added on to the shop so that I can put all my hot rods in one shop, so that we don't have to keep moving them around for customers' cars. So,
dude, that's awesome.
We got a lot of stuff going on here. So
yeah, and hosting 2 badass events, bro. When do you sleep? And driving, yeah, I mean, yeah, not even the other side of it in your own stuff.
Honestly, 4 to 5 hours a night is about what I get out of it.
So the question is that what your body needs, or is that just what it's going to get? Kind of like mine.
It's what it's going to get. I mean, if you want to do what I do, and you want to, I got big dreams and big hopes, and even today I got to think, I'm like, do you ever? Because I always keep saying I'm going to slow down and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, but I never get there. Every year I say I'm going to do this every year, but I set the bar higher every year for the stuff that I want to do, and there's not enough time. And I mean, 4 hours is what I need to get done what I need to get done. So,
dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that is one of the hardest things, is because like now you're in a situation where you don't want to let anybody down by not hosting an event, because you have 500 plus people every year that come to you and do an event. So you don't want to not do an event, but then you also want to do all of your own stuff too. I mean, dude, you're in one of the hardest spots out there.
It is because I mean, there's so much racing that I want to do and some of these events that I want to experience, but it is, and and that's where it comes down to for me. I love cars. Like, I don't know if when you watch, Days of Thunder and Harry's talking to the car and he's involved. Like, that's kind of how I feel about cars. And if I could build everything that I ever, whether it was mine or somebody else's, like, that is something that I enjoy. I enjoy racing it, but honestly, why I do race week and continue to keep doing it is just because of the people. It is just, every year you're like, up to it, you're kind of like, man, it's a lot of work. But when you get done at the end of the week, some of it you're like, oh my God, I'm glad I'm done with it because of the people. But most of the point is you love it's just so awesome to see people. And what people don't, for me, it's like when somebody comes up to you and they're like, I just did my PB. And even if they're a 14-second guy or they're whatever, like that, to me, that's what it's all about. For everybody to be happy with where they're trying to get and their goal and all that. And that's what keeps me, that's what, and June's the same way. Like, we get tired and everything else, but it's that week that we get to spend with all the people that we spend it with, that's pretty, there's not a whole lot of people in this country that get to do that. And that's pretty special.
Dude, very few. Yeah, if you put the numbers down, and Eric, we probably need to do this at some point, but figure out how many actual promoters there are. It's got to be, 25-ish, something like that actually host these events, because so many people put on multiple events. Yeah, man, that's crazy. We need some kind of committee or something that everybody can help everybody. I don't know if we'd all do that, but, I think there's definitely, the sport is growing to a point where, we need guys like you. And I just want to say, I appreciate you been like a mentor in this stuff for me as we've moved from just a racer that was getting YouTube content to what we've built here at Drag Driver Pete. It's been pretty awesome to have somebody that knows it inside and out to be able to ask,
Well, and we all learn. I mean, I learn every day, even just personally, on how to handle things and whatnot. Like, it's something that it's a learning thing. If you don't stop learning, I mean, if you stop learning, you probably don't need to do it anymore, but we all are learning. And one thing I can say is, I appreciate I don't get a chance to, I'm so busy that I don't get a chance to watch a lot of your guys' videos. I don't get a chance to watch a lot of anybody's stuff that they do. But all I can tell you is I know what you're doing and I know the work that you're putting into it. And I want to tell you guys I very appreciate what you guys have put into the sport as well. Like what you guys have done is amazing for all the stuff that you guys do. Not only the events, but the content you guys put out, but even the statistics, all that stuff. I can't say that word, but whatever. It's amazing what you guys have done for the sport, and people, people have to appreciate all of that stuff because it matters. Like now, it's such a big. It's turned into something big enough that what you guys do makes a huge difference.
Well, we're excited. We got some big news coming in about 18 days. I think we'll be able to release something that'll be even more fun. So the folks that have watched till the end of this, you just got a tidbit of info there that hasn't been made public yet, but we're gonna do something that's gonna be really freaking cool. All right. Well, Matt, listen, dude, I appreciate you and all you've done for us. Appreciate you being on tonight. I know you're a busy guy, and dude, we're literally, Eric, what'd you say? 3 weeks from Rocky Mountain Race Week? I mean, like, you're a busy guy and getting all of that stuff ready and getting everything going from there, man. It's just really cool to be able to spend a little bit of time with you and get some more insight into all that stuff. And of course, we'll be doing recaps of the days. We'll be talking about all the winners and stuff the week after the event. And then of course, like, I'm trying to work out to get there to Great Bend because, this shirt design you got's pretty freaking cool. And I need to get up there and stretch the legs in the old truck a little bit and get up there and get a couple of those shirts. So
yeah. Thanks, by the way. I want, like I said, I definitely wanted to make sure that we ran that by you before we threw that out there.
Don't say too much. Don't say too much.
Oh, it's just a teaser.
We don't want to let it out of there. So, I'm excited. Well, we're going to put you backstage. Stay with me for just a second because I'd like to go over a couple things. And then, again, if you're not following Rocky Mountain Race Week, please, dear sweet baby Jesus, go over there and follow Rocky Mountain Race Week on both Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and then RockyMountainRaceWeek.com gets you all the info from there as well for both events. Now, we talked about Rocky Mountain, which is, in air quotes 1.0, but there is another one that's October 3rd through 8th or something like that. No.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Let me see.
Somewhere in there.
I don't know. It's on here. I don't know. I don't keep track of the dates until it's like until the.
And I closed that screen. But RockyMountainRaceWeek.com will give you the schedule for both events, for Rocky Mountain Race Week and Race Week.
And the countdown. It tells you the countdown and everything. And Race Week, I'm pretty sure that we don't have that completely sold out yet. So you still can get tickets for that.
Well, let's go. We got to get that thing sold out because that's what kicked this whole brain damage I got over here off. So, all right, man, stay with us. I'll be right back.
Okay. Sounds good.
Dude, what a fun night.
Oh, absolutely.
I know we don't do two guests on here a whole bunch, but it was a good time to have Robert on and then also to have Matt finish it out. Thanks to Eric Saffel and Rex French over at AFCO Racing for all the support they provide for us here at Drag Driver Pete. The next episode, I can't remember what I have for guests on that one. Hold on a second, I'll tell you. So we're going to be talking to some Rocky Mountain Race Weeker as they prep up, and then 6 summer racer prep as well. So we're going to have probably a panel of people on from each event, kind of going through what they're doing to get ready for both of those events. And you want to send us out, dude?
Absolutely. Once again, appreciate all of our race car friends in here tonight. Tons of comments, awesome comments on everything from the Great American Detour with Robert Voss, comments on Rocky Mountain Race Week with Matt Frost. So I definitely appreciate all of you guys. And of course, once again, all of our sponsors. We've got affiliate links. We've got discount codes. We'll even get you in contact with somebody at one of these companies if there's something you need. So thank you to Summit Racing Equipment, Deechworks, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Howard's Cams, J-Wire Solutions, AFCO Racing Products, Performabuilt Transmissions, Car Chains 3D, Low Dollar Motorsports, PowerTube TV, and Racing Junk. And we will see you guys on the next one.
Yep. See you.